and Maryland face off in an important lacrosse matchup. Hi, everyone. It would be no exaggeration to tell you that today is a do-or-die situation for the University of Maryland. The Terps have to win today to ensure that they'll be in the playoffs at the end of the year. Hi, I'm Lee Felsmo, and I will be doing the play-by-play today for you. Helping with the analysis of today's game will be Joe Harlan. And Joe, you played defense on this very same field a few years back. When we talk about both these teams, we talk about teams that have a Jekyll and Hyde personality. They have a lot of talent, but they have inconsistent performances. Now, Maryland cannot afford an inconsistent performance today.
Well, that's true. Maryland lost to Delaware. Surprised everybody a couple days ago because Delaware had a losing season, and here Maryland is beating North Carolina, a two-time national champion a couple years ago, and they also played Hopkins to an overtime game, so they've lost to Delaware, and that puts them in a bad spot. They have to win today's game in order to get into the playoffs. If they don't do that, it's going to be a really sad year for Dick Adell in his second year down here.
Okay, now on the other end of the field, we've got UMBC. In 1980, they were the Division II champs, top of the world in that level of play. 1981, they went into Division I, and since then have had a tough time continually year after year to meeting this tough grade of talent. For Dick Watts, he has one win this year. Again, a lot of talent, but inconsistent play. He gave Virginia, a top 4 team, and North Carolina, a top 2 team, some of the best they could offer. They have to win today for other reasons.
Well, they do. They really have to preserve Dick Watts as their coach in the future, to be very honest with you. They've only won one game. I used to play for Dick in high school. He's a very intense guy, a guy you don't want to lose for. They've basically got nothing to lose in terms of record and everything to win today. If they knock off Maryland, that would make their entire season.
All right, they have outstanding personalities, too, including Jeff Flagg.
Well, Flagg is a super kid. Here's a kid that had Hodgkin's disease in high school, a cancer, came very close to the deathbed, rallied, came out of that, and he's the kind of guy that has never forgotten that experience. He's a winner. He's a winner all the way through, and that spirit of his is imbued in the whole program at UMBC.
All right, we'll be back to see Jeff Flagg, UMBC, and Maryland, and the start of today's game after this break. Stay with us. Welcome back to Byrd Stadium at the University of Maryland. I'm Lee Felsmo, along with Joe Harlan. We are moments away from the beginning of what could be a very critical game for the University of Maryland. Joe, this team, as we said in the pregame, has to win today to ensure even consideration for that post-game tournament.
Before the game, I spoke with Dick Adell, the Terps head coach in his second year, and he frankly doesn't know which Maryland team is going to come out on the field, whether it's the team that rallied and beat North Carolina, or the team, and that same team that went to overtime with Johns Hopkins, or the team that got killed by Navy, who isn't going to go to the playoffs, and the team that got killed by Delaware, a team that doesn't even have a winning record. I would suspect that the Terps are going to come out pretty strong today, though, because they know that this is on a line. A team filled full of freshmen and sophomores, I believe.
Well, definitely they are coming out hard for this game. Normally, the last time we saw them, as a matter of fact, against Hopkins, they were the team that wanted to control the tempo. But today, they're going to force the tempo. I would suggest that in the first 10 minutes, we'll know full well which team of Maryland's is here today. Here we are, all set for the face-off. Todd Enzer getting ready for Maryland, and he's going against Ray Ignacio, 2 face-off specialists for these 2 fine teams. There's the whistle, and we're underway. Maryland gets the loose ball. That's Kirk Thurston, and he comes in and sets up the offense for the University of Maryland. Substitutions on the fly as the offensive unit comes in, the midfielders. Again, on face-off situations, a lot of specialty people, long sticks on the wings. Now the offense gets set up. As Maryland works the circle pattern, we have to keep our eyes on the crease because number 24, Mr. Willard, is the guy who's doing most of the damage for Maryland. As the ball moves outside, we see Tony Albert now, a gentleman who has had a little bit of a slow season, Joe. He's a senior that was counted on early, but he's had a tough going, making a lot of mental mistakes. Kirk Thurston driving in on the left side. Ball checked away, and now it'll be Goss from UMBC who fires it upfield. And here's a fast break for UMBC. Coming down, looking for it. Shot always right top, and boy, is he missed that shot. That was Jeff Flagg, the guy we talked about in the pregame. He came up, set up the box on the fast break. He had the shot he wanted, walked in and missed it a little bit to the left.
One of the keys in this game is going to be Jimmy Beardmore as we take a look at it again. If he's really on today, he's going to be really, really hard to stop. Watch Flagg coming in. Hard, right-handed shot. It's going to skip by the goal. Really wasn't, the save wasn't needed there.
As we get back to live action, we can see what Dick Watts wants to do today with his offense. They just passed the ball all the way around. He wants everybody in the offense to come in contact with the ball. Everybody touches it, then he isolates the man he wants to go one-on-one, and he'll start the play.
Plus, he wants to do a lot of ball control. He doesn't want to let the Terps run and gun and run his team off the field. Weather, heat, not a factor today, but the Terps have a lot more depth than UMBC does.
All right, Jeff Flagg now pulling off the crease, controlling the ball back up top. And that's Mark Hodkin controlling, looking to possibly go one-on-one. Maryland with a man-on-man defense. Hodkin moving back and forth. Left-handed shot, he's got it, but it fell out of the stick. He's a natural right-hander, didn't quite get the left-handed shot. Ball checked nicely by Maryland, out of bounds, and it looks like it came off the UMBC stick. Maryland gets possession.
Terps don't look like they're really on fire here right now. They're going to try and play a controlled game like UMBC. I don't think that Coach Adele wants to have his team just come out and go one-on-one and try and score. He wants to keep a consistent game pattern like the one that really kept him in the Hopkins game and the one that prevailed in the North Carolina game. Watts, on the other hand, I suspect is going to have his team be a little bit more aggressive. That's what Delaware did against Maryland. They're very, very aggressive.
This clearly gives a good chance to see Jim Beardmore. You saw him, number 11, possibly the best athlete on the Maryland team. He's the goalie. But now we're in the offense, and here Maryland drives in, one-on-one situation, but they pull back out and settle things down. That's Mike Smith, a good-looking freshman, number 20. He dishes the ball off to his teammate. That's Tom Bedard, another freshman. A lot of young guys. 4 freshmen on the first 2 midfields of this Maryland team. The ball now is worked behind as they set up their offense. Brendan Hanley, a first-time starter or a new starter this week in place of Pat Burke. Both of them are left-handers. They'll work the left-hand spot back there behind the goal. But now it's back up top with Mike Smith again, initiating the offense from the midfield. UMBC staying in the man-to-man right now. They will go to a zone at times. Bedard now moving in for the left-handed shot. He's got room, he's got area, and he gets off a pretty good shot in tight. But the ball picked up nicely by UMBC. And again, they're running and gunning a lot more than we thought they might early on. Hodkin comes down, dishes it off at the fast break, but snuffed by Maryland. The ball loose, being pushed all around the field, and it'll go out of bounds. Nope, saved by Maryland, but there it is saved by UMBC now, inbounds. Frank Rees picks it up. Maryland again, Joe, with some excellent hustle, saved the ball out of bounds, almost worked to their disadvantage as it came back into UMBC.
Well, the UMBC midi coming down on that fast break really made a wrong decision. He had a man open to his left in the midfield, and he tried to force it into the attackman coming around from behind. Alert defense by Maryland, picking it off and really turning a fast break situation to their advantage. Maryland now getting the ball by a little bit of hustle, as you pointed out, as we see Jimmy Beardmore, son of the great coach down here, Buddy Beardmore, who was also an All-American down here, bringing the ball up.
Maryland, one of the schools that continually tap a family line. They've had a lot of Beardmores, a lot of guys by the name of Worstel. As you see, an excellent hit on the clear. That's another Beardmore, number 7, who was the recipient of that hit. And it was taken out by Mark Malszewski. As we see Dan Schaefer for the goalie for UMBC. Schaefer's another interesting story. Schaefer, of the 2 goalies for UMBC, this is his second start in 2 weeks. He was moved in that position because he is better out of the goal. So we expect to see him direct a lot of clears today as the ball goes down now. UMBC again controlling. It's a scoreless game here at Byrd Stadium. We're early in the first quarter, 11 minutes, 28 seconds left.
And we've got a bench penalty here. It looks like offside's being called by the bench official, and that's going to be a technical penalty. And apparently it's against the University of Maryland because we see some players shuffling off. And if in a technical situation the opposite team has possession, then we're going to have an extra man situation. As we look down the field and count them out, we see that is in fact the case. University of Maryland down a man for 30 seconds for the first time.
All right, UMBC will set up that extra man situation. It's 6 against 5 as they work the perimeter. Looking for that shot, they'll make the defense rotate, and now they got a shot up top. No, they're working back to the plane of the goal again behind. The idea here is to work that defense, and a nice shot picked up by Beardmore. He came right up and met it, deflected it back, and here goes Maryland trying to clear. Excellent pass inside, taken on by 3 defenders, and Maryland now inside the box, but the pass was missed on the far side. And Joe, when you bring the ball up, we want to tell our viewers that it has to be into the box on the offensive end of the field before they can release their man that's in the penalty box.
That's right. That's the way you get your man back in the game. Just get it in the box. It's just like the child's game of tag. You got to get it back in there, and the man is freed up. The defenseman there coming across that long stick, a little bit anxious to get the ball away, and he threw it away. So right now we just have a seesaw defensive battle with Beardmore showing us a pretty good save in the goal there on the extra man situation. UMBC putting the ball in play now and just bringing it up very casually.
This is what UMBC coach Dick Watts likes to do. That's Mark Hodkin, the speedster. He gets the ball way down the end line on his clear, and he just guns it up. He's got the good legs. Very interesting story because he played in England, actually came over from England, played in the world team that England sent over here in 1982. Now UMBC working again. Dick Watts moving the ball around. We're watching the goal in the upper right. If you watch as Beardmore reacts to UMBC's offensive strategy. Now they got the ball in tight. They've got a shot. They take it, but no, he was checked out, and I guess it'll be a slash because there was 2 or 3 stick contacts as Starkey made his way to the goal.
And once again, UMBC is going to have an opportunity for an extra man situation. Their first one, a 32nd technical foul before didn't bear any fruit. And let's take a look at it again. So we're looking down at Beardmore. Here's a shot coming around, and you see some heavy wood being laid on the man right across there. And the shot going up over the shoulder of Beardmore, and UMBC on extra man now. 6-on-5 advantage.
This is their second chance at it. Maryland turned back the last one. It was Frankie Reeves coming around for that shot. I thought it was number 4. It was 14, Frank Reeves. UMBC again on the offense. They want to make the red, Maryland, rotate that defense and get one of the UMBC players open for a high percentage shot. They work behind now. Out to Reeves. Frank Reeves goes back behind the goal, looking for a man up front. Reeves now to Goss. Goss has a cannon, but he elects to go up top. That's Starkey, and boy, he let one go. High, hard, outside shot. And Joe, that's a great percentage shot to take then, because normally you can back it up and maintain possession.
Absolutely, and especially if you can get a screen on Beardmore. He's really tough on the ground, and they're going to need a screen on these outside shots.
UMBC again, a lot of offense early going, but Beardmore keeps turning it away, but not that time. Jeff Flagg, we talked about him in the pregame. He's an opportunistic player, not big on physical ability, but great on mental toughness. He's always in the right spot.
Well, he's the guy we talked about at the top of the show. And as we watch Beardmore coming in, and he's very aggressive. He's going to move out to the ball, but in doing so, he bounces it off his uniform instead of holding the ball. Garbage goal, waiting right on the crease is Jeff Flagg, just like a rebound in basketball. Let's take a look at it again. Once again, Beardmore being very aggressive, coming out, making a nice save, but not handling the ball. And that's just as important to hold that ball in your stick as it is to make the save, and you see the example right there. So surprisingly enough, UMBC drawing first blood, going up 1-0 over the University of Maryland. 9:46 remaining in the first quarter.
We're only 6 minutes into the first quarter, and again, as Joe said, UMBC drawing first blood. I think this first 10 minutes will be indicative of what we can expect the rest of the way. UMBC showing that they are here to play. Maryland looks like they may have brought the team they hope they left behind, because they need to get up in this game. They need to win this game for the NCAA playoffs. They came up with this face-off, though. That's Todd Enzer, the face-off specialist. He gives it to Kirk Thurston out of Delaney. You'll see some substitutions through the box now as that regular midfield comes in. Maryland setting up from the midfield. They'll take their time, work it around to the attack as the attack dictates the play. Whistle on the play. You know, contrary to what Dick Watts does, Joe, Dick Watts is going to play his starting 3, maybe go deep as 4, but Dickie Dell has promised that he will use the full 30-man roster.
Well, he likes to do that because, number one, his conditioning is very important to him. He wants to have a lot of guys in the field. And secondly, he's got a young team, and he wants to see what he's got. He wants to give everybody a chance.
All right, now it looks like that UMBC may have dropped into a zone situation. They have their long sticks in there. They're staying tight. They're not pressing the offense of Maryland. As Maryland works behind the goal, looks up front, and they got it up top. That's number 17 with a shot, Chris O'Brien, the All-American, out of Delaney. And now UMBC with Schaefer directing the clear, comes upfield, and they look for their offense. Overthrows Hodkin, but backed up nicely by Reeves. And Reeves comes back, gives it to Starkey, and here comes the offense for UMBC. Starkey, real good size, Joe, 200 pounds, about 6'3".
Once again, Dick Watts wants to control this ball. He knows that it's, as trite as it sounds, it's very hard for the other team to score when you have the ball. And he knows Maryland has firepower, so he wants to take that ball around, just like you said, let everybody touch the ball, smooth things down, control the game.
One change he did make to get his offense going in this game is he put John Rodkey on that first midfield unit. That's the unit that's in there right now to get 3 blasters in there. These guys can all shoot real well, so he's got a loaded midfield in there right now for offense. Jeff Lang comes up with a loose ball. He's looking out front, feeds it across the plane of the goal, and now we got a hard shot. John Rodkey, we just talked about him, coming in on that midfield, Joe. All of these guys in this first midfield can shoot the ball. Dick Watts put Rodkey up there so that he can get more shots and hopefully more goals.
Well, they also wanted to do that because Maryland hadn't had an opportunity to get its long sticks in there, the big guys with the long defensive sticks on defense, and he wanted to fire and then pepper that goal. Now he can, now Adele can play the UMBC offense out a little bit further and make it more difficult for them to work the ball in closely.
You'll notice how the University of Maryland in red is pressing a little bit more on defense. They've got all their long sticks in there. Now UMBC moving the ball around, getting everybody to handle it. Frankie Reeves driving behind, looking for help. Gets it up to Hodkin. Now Hodkin from England, he's got a lot of speed. He's had a tough year. He'll come up with a big goal in one half, and then Dick Watts says the next half will make a mental mistake that just about kills the team. So here's Hodkin looking for a good goal into Starkey, and Starkey pumps one over top of Beardmore. Looks like Beardmore may have even deflected it.
It could have been either that or it came out of the top of his stick. Again, Beardmore very aggressive in the goal, comes out and cuts off the angle. Let's take a look at it from behind the end zone. Watch the ball on his stick, a pass right across. Let's see if it's blocked or if it flies out of his stick. Looks like it flew out of the top of his stick. Just wasn't in the cradle pocket area, and it just flew out just like you would in a high line.
Starkey very mad with himself. He had an opportunity to score, and just like that, we just missed Beardmore. Intercept the pass and get the offense going from Maryland. Now 2-3 passes, and just like that, slick stick work. Maryland has peppered the goal. They get their first one of the day at 7 minutes and 15 seconds left in the first quarter. That'll tie it up 1-1. And there's the guy that did it, number 26, Brendan Hanley, and he's a first-time starter for Pat Burke.
Let's take a look at it again. There's almost no angle for Hanley as he's almost standing behind the goal, but reaches around with his stick left-handed just to get across the chest of the UMBC goalie and puts it in. Almost looked like it was going to go in on the back of the net. Let's take a look at it from another angle. See, he's hardly around the plane of the goal, and he just really squeezed that ball in under the chin of the UMBC goalie.
That's the beauty, Joe, putting a left-hander in that natural left-handed slot. He's a natural left-hander, and so is Pat Burke. They'll both man that area, and they have the ability to get that low percentage shot in from the left. Maryland again with the face-off. It's Thurston driving down. He'll take an opportunity if he gets it, but it's closed off nicely by UMBC, so Maryland will take their time, make a substitution. Tony Armour comes in, calls for the ball. Senior gets it. This is his last game here at Byrd. He'll set up the offense. Now we have another substitution on the fly as 22, Tom Worstel, another of the Worstel brothers, comes in. Maryland's had a bunch of them, and all good ball players. Maryland now driving behind the goal. That's Matt McGeady. Matt McGeady comes inside. Now Maryland's got a good shot, and that's Willard. Willard hits the pipe, and it almost went in. You know, last year, Joe, Willard had 4 goals. He's a guy that UMBC definitely will be tagging all day long.
Absolutely. The goalie's best friend, you take a look at it, the goalie's best friend, the pipe, saved him, but the foul was drawn on that right before the shot, and there it hits the pipe. And so with Maryland 1, UMBC 1, Maryland now will have the first opportunity for an extra man power play today.
We might get a chance to see Willard work off the ball. He is an excellent scoring threat for Maryland, but he's not that great one-on-one. His main effort is off the ball. He gets open very easily.
Now, the difference that we're going to see between the down man defense of Maryland and UMBC is that UMBC is going to do much more of a zone. They're not going to slide as much as Maryland did.
Ball's up top to Willard. That's where they like him to take the shot. Moving the ball around in a 3-3. A lot of freshmen in here. 2 freshmen, Bedard and Riccardi. Riccardi 13 with the ball now. Back to Willard. Willard looks for help. He's getting checked nicely by UMBC. UMBC putting a lot of pressure on. That's Bedard 14. Back to Willard. A lot of pressure by UMBC in this 3-3.
And that noise you hear, the defensemen yelling to each other.
Nice play by number 9 from Maryland. That's Chris Lehman, the youngest of, again, another family that has done a lot of good for Maryland. Chris Lehman came around, pushed the right side to the goalie's right, gave him 1 fake and went high.
And that fake was what made the play. He looked like he was going to give up. Remember, we only have 5 men covering 6. When he came around and faked the shot, the defenseman started to drop, and he got inside of him and just defeated the goalie one-on-one. So now the University of Maryland goes up 2-1. As we watch it again, nothing more than a little bit of sleight of hand, coming around here and getting inside that defenseman, seeing the goal open and flipping it over the goalie's shoulder.
Did a nice job of, as you said, when he came around the goal, he kept his eyes into the crease area so the defenseman couldn't leave their people, and then he, at the last minute, came around and took a shot.
And we saw a situation right there where the ball's going to be awarded to UMBC for not playing the ball correctly in there. They have to get down in a certain period of time, and as a result, the referee ruled the ball in favor of UMBC. Let's take a look at the face-off again. and it was an early jump for the Maryland player, so it's going to be awarded to UMBC. UMBC now being dogged by the Maryland players.
Whistle blowing again. They have a pushing call probably. 2 or 3 players going for that loose ball. The ball stay down on UMBC's end of the field. That's Starkey, number 4. He's a guy that has really been a disappointment only in production. He's playing well, but he's not getting the goal production he had last year. Last year he shot about 44%, had 24 goals. This year he only has about 10 goals. UMBC again moving around, trying to get everybody to handle the ball before they get into their offense. Being checked nicely by Maryland, playing tough. Starkey comes in, almost gets the shot off before it's checked away at the last moment. Goes to the sideline, and Starkey again with good hustle comes up with the ball, but checked away by Dan Tracy. And Dan Tracy, Joe, is the guy that Maryland's coach Dickie Dell will put against the number 1 guy on the opposition every week.
Tracy, a great position player for an aggressive defenseman. A lot of times coaches don't like a guy to try and go and take the ball away. They'd rather have position. Tracy's good at both.
A lot of young players on this Maryland team. Again, that shows why they are inconsistent for the most part. They should be a good team for years to come. Now that high-powered offense for UMBC, rearranged midfields that has 3 gunners. Goss cuts through as Hodkin with the good wheels comes in, tries to get open for his right-handed shot. That's what he wants. He almost gets it, but no, checked away at the last moment. That was Tom Worstel going over the head, checking the ball away.
And a determined Jimmy Beardmore working his stick, coming out of the goal and being very aggressive once again. Beardmore would rather go out and take charge of the play than sit back like a sitting duck as we look at Dick Watts, head coach of the UMBC Retrievers.
Dick Watts can't be too disappointed right now. 2-1's all right. He can hold back the momentum that Maryland has generated the last 5 minutes. His team's about where he wants him at this point.
And he's yelling to play the man on. What they want to do is let the University of Maryland bring the ball up and play the attackman tight all the way at the other end of the field, so there's no easy long pass. They'd like to have Maryland lose the ball out somewhere in the midfield line, so UMBC, if they can break up the clear, have a good shot at the goal.
Beardmore is such a threat as a goalie. He can bring that ball all the way up if he has to, but right now he gives it to Tracy. Tracy's number 30, and he dishes it off across his midfielders as they settle the ball down on their half of the field. Alan McGuckin comes in one-on-one. He tries to get a shot. He does get a chance for it and fires high. Excellent move by Alan McGuckin. He's a junior from St. Mary's. He came in, had the opportunity, Joe, so he took it.
Let's take a look at it again. Ball's going to take off out of his stick high. Really not a shot on goal. Didn't test the goalie on that one. And these guys have got to start putting the ball down on the ground.
All right, Maryland sets up the attack again. Coming in, UMBC staying pretty tight with the defense. Back to a man-to-man. And it goes up top to Kirk Thurston, who's making a good juke move for a left-handed shot. And a nice save by Danny Schaefer. It bounces back up, though. And UMBC had to hustle out to get it. They're trying to settle down and clear the defense. Long sticks going across the field. Nobody getting control right now. That's a dangerous area to be in when the ball is around 6 people all trying to get the ball, getting bodies in between. And Beardmore coming way out of the goal, ranging way out of the goal to get that, showing you what kind of an athlete he is.
I'll tell you what kind of athlete he is. He just switched hands and played left-handed, which is something you rarely see a goalie do. Being able to go both ways is usually something a midfielder, attackman, and occasionally a defenseman can do. Let's see Jimmy coming out. He's coming right hand. He's being pursued. He knows he can't outrun the guy, so he's going to switch to left hand and go out. There he is. He switched to his left hand so he can get the ball out. The pass was overthrown, and UMBC will get it now.
Meanwhile, we go back to UMBC clearing up with that clear they like to do. That's Kevin Lear, number 1. He comes down with the goalie. He's a midi, gets the ball, and just outraces everybody across. That's the clear Dick Watts likes to use. Of course, we've just seen Jim Beardmore, who's the key and the catalyst to the Maryland clear. Now the offense will set up. Move the ball around, let everybody touch it. That's Watts' strategy today. But Starkey's the guy right there. He's the guy who can go one-on-one with just about anybody in the country and get a shot off. The shots have not been on target this year, and maybe one of the reasons that UMBC doesn't have more wins. Maryland being patient. That's Dan Tracy now working over there on Frank Reeves. Frank Reeves calling for help, and he gets it up top. UMBC being patient. 2-1 is a pretty good position for them to be in. They don't want to give Maryland any undue opportunities. Double team by Maryland. Maryland with some excellent opportunistic defense, and now they've got a fast break going the other side. Leading that is John Merrill, freshman, long 6 defenseman. He dishes it off, looking for the opening. A flag on the play. It'll be a minute penalty, but they'll get a shot first if they can. They're trying to get it off. Still working it around. As long as they don't move it outside the box, they can get a shot. There it is, outside the box. We saw the yellow line, Joe.
You know, that's too bad. because that's just a free shot situation when Maryland has an opportunity to crank and fire, and they know they're going to get it back. In lacrosse, when there's a penalty and they're going toward the goal and they stay within the box, they're going to let the team continue their movement toward the goal. And unfortunately, the pass was made outside the box, so they've lost that opportunity. But now Maryland will have another opportunity. They're second on extra man to see if they can draw ahead by a score of 3-1. Maryland leading UMBC, 2:39 remaining in the first quarter.
Well, if you're just joining us, this is a must-win for Maryland. I'm Lee Felsmo along with Joe Harlan. We're bringing this NCAA action. Maryland extra man situation. That's Willard up top. He can crank it. Boom. And a nice shot saved by Danny Schaefer.
Yeah, but he didn't skip it along the ground. That was a shot that the goalie could make without any bounce. And every coach will tell you, you've got to bounce that ball unless you get a screen to confuse the goalie. Now we're going to see a cat and mouse game because it's an extra man situation.
Schaefer trying to kill some time. Now he runs up. He's in a dangerous spot because if the ball's loose here, Maryland can get an easy shot off. He's looking for help. He finally gets it, but he has to go back to Hodkin. Hodkin looking for help. He's double teamed. Now he gets a little bit of room, and he races out into some green areas. He should take a little wide, but he flips it over his head. An errant pass that will be tracked down by flag number 20 of UMBC, and now they'll set up their offense.
They got it in the box, so it's going to be all even, which is exactly what he was trying to do.
Hodkin, back and forth, up to Goss. Goss, Rotke, and Hodkin. That's that high-powered offense, the first midfield for UMBC. Each guy likes to go one-on-one. Watts has got him set up so that Rotke likes to go right, Hodkin likes to go left, and Goss takes it from the top. Again, Beardmore out of the cage. Maryland. Beautiful stick work down there by Joe Jensen's number 10 as he picks up the ball and makes an errant pass to the side. Unfortunately, all the hustle was done, and he missed John Merrill in the wing.
Joe Jensen's father also played here, was an outstanding defenseman years ago at the University of Maryland, and he and his son were honored before the game today as UMBC won't give up the ghost here. They're only trailing by a goal. Frankly, a lot better game than we expected to see today, Leaf.
So far it is, and you get the feeling that Maryland could go ahead and blow it open at any moment, but if UMBC can just notch a few more goals, they're going to get that confidence that they've lacked throughout the season. There's one of the guys that could do it for him, Starkey, number 4. Very patient. Rotke up top for the attack. Rotke on the midfield unit, coming in, driving for a left-handed shot. Looks in for a feed to Starkey. Starkey somehow maintains possession of that ball. He was double-teamed. Now he's got room. Tracy now comes back, gives him some pressure, gives him a little window wiping action with the stick, pushing him away. Starkey should let go of that ball right now. He's being governed a little too closely to push it. But, Joe, when you're the guy that everybody looks to, you like to hold on to it.
Absolutely.
There's Goss coming in. Goss has a good outside shot. Again, the double team comes in from Maryland, but UMBC needs to move the ball. Hodkin has a shot from there, and a good save by Beardmore into dangerous territory on the crease, but Maryland got it.
Well, once again, it popped out of Beardmore's stick, and this is where a good crease attackman, alert crease attackman can get goals. Beardmore is going to draw a trip on that. That's a funny play. When you get knocked in the stick, if you don't fall down, they never call the trip, but they're going to call it now because he went down. Good piece of work by Beardmore. So he's turned the whole thing around. Instead of having the ball in the hands of UMBC, it's going to be Maryland with extra man, their third extra man situation for 1 minute.
We'll also show a flag out in front with Jensen's on him, Joe, and he's getting pushed pretty good.
He's getting driven out of there so that they can see the shot. See, the reason the flag's in there is he's there to create a screen so the goalie can't see what's going on. So Joe Jansen's is trying to get him out, clear the crease. That's what the goalie always yells, clear the crease so I can see, and that's exactly what he's doing. He's moving him out so the goalie has a clear view.
Now, if he's not within 5 yards of that ball, that's an illegal push.
That's correct.
But if the goalie doesn't see it, if the referee doesn't see it,
it's all right.
Nobody
cares. 11th commandment. Don't get caught breaking the other 10.
We've got 24 seconds left, and that'll dictate some of the action that happens in this extra man, won't it?
That's true. 24 seconds to go. If Maryland hasn't got a shot, they'll retain possession because there will not be a face-off if they have possession when time runs out.
Let's see what Maryland does. They may try to get a good shot off first, Joe. If they can maintain possession, then they'll probably sit on it. They're looking for the shot now. Willard up top. He's got Bedard to his backside. Riccardi, another freshman midi up top. Try to force it inside, and UMBC knocked it down in a hurry. They'd love to get that ball and get it out of there so this quarter can end. And it does. At the end of the first quarter, the score remains Maryland 2, UMBC 1. And we'll have more NCAA lacrosse from First Stadium. And right now, though, before we break, let's take a look at the teams. And Joe, I got to say that UMBC won, even though they're behind 2-1. They pretty much mentally won that first quarter.
They certainly did. And just to set up the situation as we go in the huddle with Dick Adele, the Maryland coach, and the second half, it will be an extra man still for Maryland, but there will be a face-off. Let's listen to Dick Adele.
We got that up right for 36 seconds.
Hey, look, we cannot force two-man on that ball because I know for sure that UMBC is going to pop a defenseman off the far side. You understand that? You put one man on the ball.
Jack, you take the ball. All right, Wilbur, you take the man next closest to the ball. Berkey, you got the goalkeeper. Okay? Corbs, you take the man furthest away. All right, Kevin Hart, you're over here near the box waiting for the guy to come in. All right, Swaz, you're deep. All right, the only other guy on the offensive end. You get the ball, take it to the corner, wait till we get the...
City O's has been selling Oldsmobiles since 1919 and has earned a reputation for selling for less and servicing best. But new Oldsmobiles aren't the whole story. At City O's, you can always count on service satisfaction, whether it's parts, body shop repairs, or mechanical services that you need. City O's has a fine selection of quality used cars, plus daily rentals and lease cars. In other words, City O's is down the road with you all the way. If I can ever be of any assistance, see me. My desk is right on the showroom floor.
Welcome back to Byrd Stadium at the campus of the University of Maryland. And this, as this picture will indicate, it's a beautiful day, Joe, for lacrosse, and it's turning out to be a pretty good game. Maryland 2, UMBC 1.
That shot they call Bird Beach. A lot of the co-eds come down here, and males too, and get a suntan on Bird Beach, whether there's a lacrosse game going on or not. It is a good game, Leaf, and just to set the situation now, the University of Maryland has the ball on extra man, but there's going to have to be a face-off because there was no possession by Maryland when the quarter ended. And I think what you heard when we went down in the huddle is they said that UMBC is going to bring on a defenseman to come and play up in the midfield area, to come in there and try and knock down the man facing off.
All right, we'll take a look at the action. There's Dick Watts. He has to be happy with that first quarter. His team only has one victory this year. They played exceptionally well at times. They haven't put it together for 4 whole quarters.
All right, now here's what they're going to rule. They're not going to have a face-off. They're going to give possession just where it was on the extra man situation right now, which means that UMBC is going to try and bring that ball up and get it into the box on the other side.
Mark Hotkin has the ball. He is the speedster for UMBC. He makes a little fake, gets some room, and just takes off, and it works for UMBC. He gets inside, and he's open for a shot. If he takes it, he gets back to Starkey. Starkey back up front. Too many passes, Joe. They had a shot.
Absolutely. A wide pass on the midi, cutting in, and UMBC is going to fight hard for this ball now.
Hotkin being double-teamed. He's looking for help. He gets it inside, and this is a shot for UMBC. If they take it inside, then they get it.
That was a beautiful shot, a beautiful goal. It's number 23 standing wide open on the crease. Mark Mashewski was standing wide open on the crease when the ball fed across, and that was caused by UMBC dogging the ball, getting it. Nice, beautiful feed across. Goalie is going to be naked completely, and he goes inside on Jimmy Beardmore. Nothing Beardmore can do about that. Let's take a look at it again. Just a nice fast break. We don't see too many more of these in lacrosse since they've had the long sticks. And that's just a beautiful part of play. Beautiful part of play. And so UMBC comes right back at the very beginning of the second quarter and ties the game up.
Mark Malashewski, he was slid down to that second midfield unit. Used to be an attackman. He's a junior. 5'10", 178 out of Pasadena, Maryland. And that was part of that change that Watts made. It looks like it's worked out pretty well for him so far. But 3 passes 2 times in a row. The first time it didn't work, Joe. That time it worked for UMBC, and they've knotted this game up 2-2.
Face-off's going to be a key here now with the game tied up. A lot to do with momentum.
Jeff Flagg comes out and gets it, number 20 for UMBC. He'll have a shot if he gets some room. He goes across the plane of the goal, and Dan Tracy, the smart number 1 defenseman, picks it up. But now inside, and what a move by Jeff Flagg, number 20. UMBC picked up the loose ball, looked for the open man, and they found him.
Flagg high as a kite. He was a subject of a feature article in a local newspaper last night that talked about his previous disability as a kid. And let's take a look at it. This is from behind the net. This is what you see if you're the goalie standing there. Right across the face of the goal, fakes Beardmore high, draws him out of the goal, and goes across to the right side. And Maryland is really mad. Tracy had taken that ball away and then lost it. Let's take a look from another angle. Going right across, you'll see him fake Beardmore out. He moved to his left, and then put it into the right, and there's Beardmore down the ground. And so UMBC goes up 3-2, surprisingly, over the University of Maryland.
You know, it's no different than any other game, Joe. When there's a loose ball situation, instinctively you move to the back side of the net, whether it be soccer or anything else. That's where you're open. Jeff Flagg moved to that position, and he got the ball.
And you see a timeout down in the field now, and we have to believe that Dick Adele is not too happy at what's going on right now.
Dick Adele's a pretty mild-mannered guy, but I'd like to be down there hearing him right now because I think he's probably getting a little intense. This is a must game. We want to repeat that he is in danger of losing his bid for that final 8 for the national championship if he loses any more games. He's got 2, and this is the one he's got to win.
Well, Dickie Dell's about 6'3", 6'4", and you can afford to be mild-mannered when you're that tall, because when you have to look up to the coach, when you're a big varsity athlete, he's somebody that strikes a little fear in your heart. There's Dickie Dell, had a very successful career at Army before coming to the University of Maryland.
We talked about the importance of the face-offs. Here's another one. Ray Ignacio for UMBC in the white, and Maryland tight ends are 16. These are the face-off specialists. That's all they do. It's their job to get that ball, and there's almost a trip, but it was not called as Goss comes up with the ball for UMBC.
Great stick work there by Goss, rolling over, circus performance as he preserved the ball on his stick, and they win the face-off.
He'll slow it down. There was a foot race to the outside. Both face-off specialists came out, and now they're at full strength with their regular unit. This is that #1 midfield unit for UMBC. Let's see if they maintain the offensive philosophy and work the ball around.
Have to wonder how long these horses can hold up out here running the same midfield, and we're going to have a hold called. That's going to be a 30-second penalty unless it's a loose ball penalty.
That's Chris O'Brien, the senior from Delaney, again playing his last game on this same bird field. There are 6 seniors on Maryland's team, relatively young.
Let's take a look at it again, and the hold's going to be called. I think they're going to say that the ball was on the ground when the hold occurred. There it is. Ball was on the ground when the hold occurred, so it will not be an extra man situation, but UMBC will get the ball back, leading by a score of 3-2.
Actually, it was a good check, but his stick just got caught in there. If had he released the stick, he would have been clean. Ball moved around by UMBC in the white against Maryland in the red. UMBC with a 3-2 lead right now, and we are 2 minutes into the second quarter. They'll be nice and patient. There's no need to force it. They want everybody to handle the ball. Watts wants to get everybody comfortable with his offense. Up top, that's Goss. He likes to shoot from up there, and he does. Comes inside. Nice screen by Hodkin, but Beardmore picked it off like there wasn't a screen there.
Beardmore has been very, very good this year against screens. That's, of course, what they're looking for. As you watch Maryland in trouble here on the clear, nobody to go to.
Ball loose, and here's an opportunity for Maryland, but they elect to come out and settle the ball down. A lot of different numbers out here as Kirk Thurston settles the ball for the offense. Again, Joe, do you think the philosophy of using your whole roster works against the continuity of your offense?
Well, it does to some extent, but we'll find out in the third and fourth quarter whether it works to the advantage of Maryland from the standpoint of stamina. Right now, UMBC running that #1 midfield an awful lot.
Maryland's going to go with 3 midfield units plus a long sticks. UMBC will run 3. It's a pretty cool day with a nice breeze, about 75 degrees. The heat should not be a factor, but if they go hard all day, there's pure numbers of men will. Maryland now setting up an ISO situation. Kirk Thurston moving in one-on-one, looking for help, goes behind. Now they look up front for a pass, and a nice check by University of Maryland, Baltimore County. UMBC checked the ball down, and we have a call.
We're going to have an illegal procedure call, and that's a hold as we take a look at it. Man, coming through there, and we're going to see a nice check. Nice check. It was not a blind side, but there was an illegal procedure penalty called in there. And so now University of Maryland will retain the ball. 6 long sticks in there for UMBC to try and clog up that offensive Maryland. Maryland will be looking, by the way, to get that ball into the middle.
We saw Brian Willard get clocked. Brian Willard, again, had 4 goals last year. They've got to be wary of what he can do. But this is Thurston, #3, coming in, firing, and it was deflected wide. The ball going out of bounds, and it stays to Maryland because it was a shot fouled out of bounds. And the closest player to the ball gets possession. So they'll set up their offense.
Nice save by Schaefer in there, and he's going to be an important key today to the UMBC defense.
Brendan Hanley already has 1 goal. He's moving in. He's a left-hander. He looks for that left-handed shot. He's getting checked nicely, and there's the shot. He gets a score. Jeff Nuck, a sophomore defenseman from Ellicott City, couldn't do enough to stop him as Hanley has his 2nd goal of the game.
You see, that's the importance of the bounce shot. That wasn't a particularly hard shot or a particularly well-placed shot, but because it was a bounce shot, it comes off at an odd angle for the goalie on that dirt. Now, let's watch it in slow-mo. It comes down. He's got it covered, but it took a funny bounce. He's got it covered absolutely perfect. A great piece of camera work there. Let's take a look at it again. You'll see him rolling across. He wants his left hand. He's going to slide down low. Little nice, easy, soft bounce. Your mother could stop that ball, but not the way it bounced against the goalie. And so Maryland has come back to tie it up at 3-all.
Not to be a coaching clinic, but if Schaefer had moved his body over in front of the ball, as all goalies teach, he would have had a deflection off his chest. The ball went by him, and that'll knot it up 3-3. And Maryland now with the ball back in their end of the field. You see Jim Beardmore. He's directing traffic. He's telling his players where he wants them, and he's the guy that Dickie Dell is totally confident of as an athlete coming out of that goal. He is not afraid to let Beardmore himself bring the ball across the midfield line.
And he's the heart of the Maryland team. He's a sophomore. He's going to be here a couple more years, and he's the real quarterback of the defense.
Ball brought up to Matt McGeady. He gets it inside, and there's an open play off the pipe on the inside. That was McGuckian coming in and missing that shot. Nice check, and the intensity is really building, Joe.
Great shot there from handheld camera down the field. Puts you right in the action. That's what you'd see if you were playing there. A great lick put down there in the field, and that has a lot to do with the way this momentum of the game goes, as to who hits and who takes charge of the game.
Well, they're definitely playing for keeps, and we might want to remind everybody that last year this game was a 12-11 game, and the year before, or it was 12-10 last year and 12-11 the year before, so it's always been a very tightly contested game.
College Park versus Baltimore. Both teams are the University of Maryland.
Guy Riccardi gives it back to the attack, and the attack sets up the offense. Cutters from the outside. The midfield really moving. McGeady looks inside and gets a shot that's deflected by the defense. Maryland will maintain possession.
You know, people wonder why there's so many pipe shots. It's not luck. It's that these guys are so good and they're shooting that they're just trying to get it inside the pipe, and they're just that much off by hair, and that's why we see so many pipe shots.
A matter of inches. They're going for that perfect shot inside the pipe, and if it's 2 inches off, it hits the outside of the pipe. It's that simple. Maryland now working inside against a tough defense. It's a hold play. You see the flag go up, and that'll be a penalty against the University of Maryland, Baltimore County.
And there was a little bit of complaint from the Maryland bench that that hold was called a little bit quickly. The ball was still in play. Let's take a look at it again. And as the hold is being called, the ball is being shot. Man behind the goal got it. That's a hold. You can't impede the progress of the player as he comes through there. And that hold was called right away. And I think the Maryland bench would have liked to have a little slow flag or a slow whistle on that one. And the University of Maryland going to have an extra man opportunity here, Leaf.
That was a good shot of Mike Smith. He was the one that got that penalty called on him. He's wasn't a tackman from South River. He's only a freshman. Moved up to the midfield ranks by Coach Dickie Dell. Now we see the extra man play. Watch the defense. They're trying to make the white defensive players slide out of position. They'll get the best shot possible. Bedard's calling for it. He gets the ball, but a nice slide by the defense covers him up. Back to Riccardi.
Defense will slide counterclockwise. They're sliding away from the ball, so they always have a man covering what's called the back door of the open man.
Maryland looking for the open shot. They get it now as Bedard takes a shot. Smothered by Schaefer. He can't get the handle on it. If he can get control, they can't check it. As long as he keeps his foot or some part of his body in the crease, he can get possession of that ball and be protected.
And the goalie in a little bit of distress now. He took a little bit of a lick down there, and he's bending over, getting his breath again. Let's take a look at the save again. Shot coming across the goal. He's going to be in nice position, makes a save right there. Ball bouncing out of his stick, and after that, there was a big fight for it. Goalie took a little bit of a lick, and he's just cooling off right now. Maryland still in possession of the ball. All even situation.
All even situation. They've got 6 long sticks in. Joe, I know that you're not a big proponent of the long sticks, and neither am I. It seems like it used to be the fastest game on 2 feet, the game of lacrosse, but since the long sticks have come into play, we've kind of taken away that prideful remark.
Takes away the transition game, takes away the fast break, and makes lacrosse not quite as fast as it used to be. I hope they get rid of it and go to the international or the club rules.
Maryland now looking to work the perimeter as you get offside cutters coming in. They go behind McGeady. McGeady looks to the crease, doesn't see anybody. Now he comes out high and wide, and it's Dennis Buckley works up to the top. There's another Beardmore, number 7. That's Stevie Beardmore. Both went to Severn. He is a sophomore along with his brother. And Maryland looking for the shot. They come in, they fake it, stutter step, and move to the outside. Now they skip a man, but UMBC is right there. But a great play by Maryland, puts it back in. McGeady checked it away, and now it's loose.
Good check by UMBC, but the referee's going to rule it went off the UMBC player's stick, so the University of Maryland retained possession.
Tough call from here. It looked like it went off the Maryland player. Of course, they're much closer than we are.
That's true. You just joined us, Joe Hahn, along with Leif Elsmo. 9 minutes and 14 seconds remaining the first half. UMBC versus Maryland. Surprisingly, Leif, all tied up at 3-all. We're watching a good game today.
No question about it. If you had taken a poll, you wouldn't have gotten many people picking that this game would be even in the second quarter. But UMBC is showing, again, they have a lot of talented athletes. The thing that has killed them is mental mistakes. So we'll see if they can put together 4 good quarters. Maryland working the ball behind, looking for feeding in the crease area, and they get it right there. But UMBC had 3 or 4 men on that feed, and they come up with the ball. They'll work back to the goalie now. Dan Schaefer will get it, and Schaefer will start to clear. He looks to the offside, sees an opening, fires it up to his defenseman. And he is neatly checked on the sideline. The ball goes to the out-of-bounds line, and go back to Maryland.
See, this is what Dick Watts wants on a clear. He doesn't want to play around with setting up. He wants that goalie to take the ball and get out over the top quickly to his middies and get it downfield. If he is in a setup situation where there's a timeout out of bounds, he wants to give it to the fastest, fleetest deer on the team and let him blow down and not fool around with a set clear. That was not to be. University of Maryland still in possession of the ball, starting to control the tempo of this game a little bit, Leaf, but not getting goals.
Back to the attack for Maryland. That's Thurston's midfield with Ulmert in there. Thurston now takes up top. He'll look to make a juke move and get an opening. He doesn't quite get it. He gets double teamed, as a matter of fact. Back out to the crease, and what a nice save by Schaefer.
Schaefer didn't even know he saved that ball.
Schaefer gave him off his face mask, it looks like. The ball is in front. A good opportunistic play. We'll have to see who made the score. But we call that a garbage goal, but it still counts as one, doesn't it, Joe?
It sure does, and Maryland goes up by a score of 4-3. I don't think that the goalie knew that he had made that save. I think it was a real nice screen. Let's take a look. Willard scored the goal, bounces off the goalie's face mask. He's stunned a little bit. He doesn't know where the ball is because it came off his face mask. Down on the ground, Willard very opportunistically flips in what we call the garbage goal. Let's take a look at it. We have him isolated right here. And here he is getting pushed from behind. Referee never saw it. He's going to be very alert. He wants to give that guy a little lick to let him know he was there. Ball's going to be on the ground, and he's going to say, oh, boy, what do I have here? Watch it. There's a shot. Bounces off the goalie's face mask. He said, what do I have here? I'm just going to flip this in with my 5-iron. Puts it in the upper right-hand corner, and he's a hero.
That is not a garbage goal. Any good crease attackman, don't you agree? Any good crease attackman, that is part of his repertoire. He has to be there. If he's opportunistic, he's going to get a fair share of those throughout the course of the year.
Of course, when we say garbage goal, we don't mean it wasn't earned. It's just an opportunistic goal would be the polite word. I say garbage goal because he used to be a crease defenseman, and if anybody ever scored him, it had to be a garbage goal.
Of course.
Now, we see a timeout down here on the field, and I have to believe that Dick Watts is trying to tell his team, let's calm down a little bit. You guys are up 3-2, and then it's 3-3, and now Maryland's pulled up 4-3. A lot of times you don't see this if you have more competitive teams in terms of what their records are. The coach might wait until he's down by 2 goals, probably 3 goals. Watts doesn't want to let that happen. He wants to wake UMBC up again and say, come on, Retrievers, you're in this ball game. You've played these guys evenly. Let's not lose it. Let's be very alert on defense. Watts has always stressed defense. All-American defenseman himself at Johns Hopkins University in the 50s.
And he's doing a good job here today.
And our cameramen are doing a good job here, too. A lot of the fans seem to be more interested in the stun.
There's Kevin O'Leary, one of the assistant coaches for Maryland, as he gets those troops fired up for continued play. 4-3, Maryland over UMBC, 8 minutes to go in the second quarter. We'll have a face-off after that goal by Willard. Willard has 2 already, I think, and he had 4 last year. So we saw a little bit of that physical confrontation going on the crease with Willard, and it's justified because last year he had 4 goals. Now we'll go down to the face-off specialist.
Once again,
Ignacio against
being a key here. Excuse me, Lee. A real key to what's going to happen in this game now.
Dick Watts felt real good about it. Talking to him before the game, he thought if it got down late in the game that his man Ignacio could do well against Todd Enzer, who was one of the best in the business. McGeady from Maryland settles things down, looks behind, he'll circle around. Maryland does a lot of inverting, which means they'll start in the midfield, take it around behind, and play it from behind the goal as a midfielder. Brendan Hanley already has 2 goals on the day. He's a natural left-hander. Comes up, looks for help, and he gets it. Kirk Thurston. Thurston now doing that invert move, Joe. He's taking his midfielder who has a short stick behind the goal where he will work him. Making a little bit of a move, looking to the crease, always looking for help, but taking the shot if he can get it. Looks up top. Gives off to McGeady. McGeady has the long stick on him. And he comes over to Ulmert. Ulmert with a tough year under his belt. He's a senior they counted on this year, but has just had some tough luck, and the games haven't been going the way he would like them to go. Very talented, though. Ulmert with a little juke fake, comes in for the right-handed shot. No opening. UMBC standing fast. Now McGeady's open. He comes back out. Hanley, the left-hander. Hanley bearing in, doesn't get the opening he wants.
This is not usually Maryland's game, just this one-on-one. Usually what Maryland likes to do is establish a situation where somebody drops off and then feed the crease.
Nice shot inside by Kirk Thurston. Thurston moved back and forth. Most of these players have a good left hand and a right hand. He gets the defenseman to commit one way, rolls around the other side, and fires it.
We look down at Dick Watts, the head coach of UMBC, athletic director of UMBC.
Maryland looked like they're a little more patient than they were in the first quarter, Joe. I think they came out of the game fired up, wanting to go ahead and get ahead fast. They're up against a better team or a better match than maybe they thought, so they want to go back and control the ball.
UMBC because they don't have a good record. He wants them to stay in the same game plan, so if they're fortunate enough to be in the playoffs, they can take that game plan in with them so they can establish a consistent pattern. You see, every one of these games, because they're mostly freshmen and sophomores, is a scrimmage type experience, and the more experience they can get at their game plan, the better off they're going to be. But they've thrown the ball away now. UMBC bringing it up. Maryland in kind of a tight rod, Leaf.
Brian Willard threw the ball away, and Aaron passed across the wing. There's always that chance when you thought the full width of the field. This is Hodkin, the speedster, the midfielder from England, played for John Bardsley's team in the World Cup 1982. And he's coming all the way down. He might get a shot. Goes left-handed. He does get a shot, and it just misses the plane of the goal. Nice move by Hodkin. We'll see if he comes off the field. That was a full-length run, Joe. That was about a 100-yard sprint.
Now he's going to go to just the other corner and just take a little bit of breath, relax.
There he is. Good shot of him. Starkey starts the offense. He comes up. There's Hodkin.
We're taking a look at him. He ran the full length of the field. He's going to switch from right to left to get a better angle, and the ball just skitters by the face of the goal as we go back to live action.
UMBC, again, using that pattern offense, moving the ball around like you would on an extra man play, letting everybody handle it, and then they go into their offense. Now you'll see the cutters on the offside. Nice check by Maryland as they work over the offense. And Dan Tracy comes up with the ball now, but checked again by a hustling UMBC team.
UMBC is showing a tremendous amount of aggressive play here, Lee. They're playing the University of Maryland very, very strongly right now. They got tired of hearing that they were the best 1-9, 1-8, 0-9, 0-8.
Well, one thing Dick Watts just said about his team is that they have never given up this year. Even though they're 1-9, he hasn't seen this team give up yet, and he feels good about this game being a key to their mental outlook for next year. Starkey now controls. He's the big guy behind the goal. 6'3", 200 pounds after Rodke. This is that offensive midfield we talked about. We'll see if Rodke comes down for a left-handed shot. They'll have to go right-handed, and he didn't have any angle, Joe.
Beardmore really stole that right off the crease. That was a pass. That wasn't a shot. That was a pass across the crease, and Beardmore stuck out his stick and stole that ball. And he's going to go all the way and take a shot. Look at this. Jimmy Beardmore. Boy, is that a backbreaker. The University of Maryland's goalie, sophomore goalie, takes it to full length of the field, face dodges two defensemen, comes in and puts a low one. And boy, if you don't think that is the backbreaker for UMBC, you're crazy. The goalie for UMBC, there's nothing more ignominious than having the opposite goalie score on you.
Well, we'll see what kind of character UMBC has.
Okay, let's watch it.
Back.
He's going to intercept. See, there's a pass coming across. He intercepts it. Ball flips in the air. He says, nobody's out there. I guess I'll do the job myself. And what happens a lot of times, once that goalie crosses the midfield line, the defense says, we know he's going to throw it off. We'll just drop off a little bit. Fakes like he's going and fakes the man, comes in right-handed, and he's going to go real low. He showed a high shot, and he turned his stick sideways.
That was a heck of a shot for anybody. For an attackman, that was a heck of a shot. Going high,
good shot for you.
That would have been an excellent shot for me. Here we go, UMBC coming back. We'll see what kind of character they have. Can they tie it up? A cannon shot by Jeff Flagg, and is he mad? He had the full 36 square feet in front of him, and he missed the cage.
Very important for UMBC to get a goal now. Down 5-3, but more importantly on a goal by the opposite team's goalie. We can't say enough what a strong surge that puts in a team.
We talked about Jim Beardmore's athletic ability, and there it is right there. We talked about him needing a goal, and Lear gave it to him. Kevin Lear, a midfielder. He's a senior, and he gave him that experience right there. He came in and got the goal when they needed it. They're showing some character, Joe.
But that's the problem that the University of Maryland has. When they get their opponent down, get the foot on the throat, they can't take advantage of it. There's the ball behind, and you're going to see the Learjet coming in here. One-handed, fakes Beardmore high, slips in low, and there's the goal that Beardmore just had. He gave it back up again. So UMBC comes back, trailing 4-5.
Interesting enough, Joe, he shot it right-handed, where he had almost no angle. You would thought Beardmore would have come up and snuffed the right-handed shot, but he didn't. A good shot by Lear, and they're right back where they want to be, 5-4. Could be an important face-off.
Could be that Jimmy Beardmore was a little tired after running the length of the field.
There we go with Maryland getting possession back to Beardmore, and he gets it right back up for the clear. A lot of activity starting at midfield, and the contact is getting ferocious, too, as the ball is checked out of bounds.
We're going to get a penalty, and this is a little bit, you can see that the heat that's going on between these two teams right now. UMBC really wants this one.
A lot of frustration pent up inside this UMBC team. We talked about how good the team is. They have good athletes, but they don't have that many wins to show for it. Hank Starsky got into some fisticuffs, and here we are. We'll show you what happened.
And there's what started it. Little push from behind, needless push from behind. Referee's going to call it anyway, but number 9 isn't happy with that. He wants to take the law in his own hands. He said, hey, what's going on here? So he pushes back, pushes Dan Tracy back, and Dan doesn't like that either.
Starkey comes in to enforce a little bit. Chuck Reed and Starkey, teammates for several years down there at UMBC. We're getting into a little bit of a high-intensity high-intensity game, Joe.
A little bit of spirit here. A lot better game than anyone could have predicted.
UMBC now with a little bit of confidence scoring the last goal. They seem to score in bunches, each team taking a pair. UMBC working a patient offense, but Maryland now pressing a little bit more, Joe.
Maryland's questioning themselves a little bit after that Delaware loss.
Chucky Reed works behind, feeds out front, and Beardmore picks it up clean as a whistle. That was a heck of a save. He made it look easy, Joe, but that was a heck of a save.
Unfortunately, his clearing pass, which was a well-thrown pass, wasn't handled by the defenseman, and we're going to have Maryland UMBC. You're going to see a lot of body out here now.
UMBC picking up confidence every minute. They force inside.
And that'll be an offsides. A little bit of an offsides there. University of Maryland, Baltimore County, the team in white, being very aggressive, but you have to have the goalie and 3 men in that defensive area of the field. They can't come all the way down, and so that'll be a possession foul, it looks like, and the University of Maryland will have the ball on offense.
The score is 5-4 in favor of Maryland. It's a very tight game. There's only 4 minutes left in this half, and Joe Harlan, along with Lee Felsma, we are seeing one heck of a game.
Dick Watts down there, enjoying the sun, getting all of it on a portion of his body that we all can't tan ourselves on.
There's Beardmore. We've already seen him score a goal. He's done everything we said he could do. He is an excellent athlete. Now they look a little tentative when they're clear. Dan Tracy, the #1 attackman. There's another offsides call. We talked about them being tentative, and we have an offsides call with possession. And who's it against?
Against UMBC, it looks like I only count 2 white shirts down there. Let's take a look. But he pointed down toward the Maryland side.
Well, I tell you, we talked about UMBC. They play in spurts, they play well, but they make a lot of mental mistakes, and this could be a key mental mistake today.
The second one in a row, second offsides in a row. It didn't look like they had enough men on the field. Right now, we look down, there are 3 men. So the University of Maryland is going to take possession of the ball now.
The University of Maryland starts off with Eric Corbin, a left-hander. Or he's not a left-hander, but he came from Army with Dickie Dell when he came down to Maryland. He transferred.
Extra man situation.
UMBC being real aggressive. Riccardi back inside. He looks for a shot. Maryland working to get the open man, trying to make the defense slide, and he fed the crease and just missed on the inside by Chris Lehman.
And he stepped in the crease, and of course you can't enter that area if you're an offensive player with or without the ball. And so that's a cheap clear for the University of Maryland, Baltimore County.
Young players can make these mental mistakes. That was Chris Lehman, #9, made a nice cut down. There he is, nice shot him with Dickie Dell. Dickie Dell doesn't scold him as he comes off. He just gives him a little embrace and says, that's all right, to do better next time. Chris Lehman, from an excellent lacrosse family. He's only a freshman, and he'll make his mark in the years to come.
And then Maryland intercepted. They're going to look all the way down the field. It's going to be open.
Slap shot inside tight, and look at the defense for UMBC coming way out of the cage. That's Schaefer ranging way up 30 yards out of the cage to get the ball. Nobody can find the handle. The contact's getting fierce. Let's watch as they pick it up. Maryland now on the offense. That's Corbin, checked away, and here's a fast break. It's Hopkins. It's the speed burner. Hopkins from England. He's coming down looking. He finds a man, Starkey. Starkey goes to the crease. They've got it. UMBC scores. It's a tie ball game.
UMBC coming back. They used a lot of aggression on defense. Stole the ball from the University of Maryland. Found the outlet pass. Came down on a fast break. Faked across the crease. Caught the attackman coming from behind. Took Beardmore low and pumped it over his shoulder to tie the game up 5-all. Let's take a look at it again. Here's a fast break, classic, holding the ball, faking to the man on the right, instead hitting the attackman coming from behind, going over Beardmore's head as he leaps to his feet, and there it is. Let's take another look from the ground camera. Here it is, coming across. Nice shot, goes up and over Beardmore, and UMBC ties it up at 5-all after Beardmore put Maryland up 5-3 from a goal from the goalie.
Chucky Reed did it. He's a senior. He's showing that experience, cutting across the crease as Starkey found the mark, and now the all-important face-offs become critical as they're fighting in the midfield. And UMBC comes up with it again. They've got a man break. They're cutting out the shot, and they get another goal. It's #6 for UMBC, John Rocky on that high-powered first offense, and there you go. In less than 10 seconds, UMBC has gone ahead 6-5.
And this is what Adele did not want. He wants to control this game. He doesn't want to give them that great spirit. Let's take a look from the end zone camera. You're Jimmy Beardmore. You're standing in the goal. This is what you're going to see. Man coming down right at you, and he shoots it out right across on the ground, takes a funny bounce, and goes in the upper right-hand corner. University of Maryland, Baltimore County, 3 unanswered goals, up 6-5 over the University of Maryland at their home in College Park.
Ignacio against Todd Enzer. Ignacio in the white, Enzer in the red. The all-important face-offs, they will become critical. University of Maryland, Baltimore County controlling, and they get another one here. but checked away at the last minute, and Flagg, Jeff Flagg, comes out, gets the ball, and settles the offense down.
This would be the upset of the year if the University of Maryland, Baltimore County could hold on to it.
I don't think Dick Watts would agree with you, but I must say that if you had to tout a team, Maryland looked like they were ready to win this one. UMBC is coming in, showing that they do have the ability, if they can do it, for 4 quarters straight.
Less than 2 minutes remaining in the half. Surprisingly, UMBC Retrievers from Baltimore City, Baltimore County, up over their counterparts from College Park, the older, more experienced team in terms of service.
Let's see what the offense does here now. They're being very patient. This is that high power we keep talking about, #1 offense. And that's Hodgkin going for the right-handed shot. He gets it and just misses the 6x6 goal as Beardmore had it pretty well covered. Hodgkin was going for that fine line shot that you were talking about, Joe.
The name of the game here has been the face-offs, though. The offense for UMBC has controlled the game. That's why Maryland can't get on the scoreboard. 3 unanswered goals. Dick Watts would like nothing better than to go into the locker room at halftime with a lead.
I tell you, Dick Watts talked about the importance of this game. He feels that this can be a big win for this program and set up next year so that this team is ready to play Division I ball. Goss over to Hodgkin. Hodgkin had an excellent shot last time. Just missed the 36 square feet. He could have had a goal. And now we're working the far side. That's Chucky Reed. Looks to the crease. The ball knocked down by Maryland. And Maryland now setting up a clear, looking for help on the near side. That's Merrill. And now he goes back. And Beardmore, under a lot of pressure, makes it look so easy, Joe. He just fakes 2 or 3 guys, comes out. Now he'll settle it down and quarterback the clearing.
Less than a minute to go in the half. Beardmore would like to get the ball down to the other end of the field, score a goal, so at least to tie it up. Maryland does not want to go into halftime down.
I've lost track of the timeouts called by Adele, but I wouldn't be surprised to see him call timeout if he gets it in the offensive half of the field.
That might be true.
Ball checked nicely by UMBC. It's Hodgkin. Hodgkin is all over the field. Check now. Close to the out of bounds. Contact everywhere. And look at that hit. Close to the out of bounds. Still in play as Schaefer comes out, picks it up, and he is nailed. 29 seconds. Might be a moving pick.
That's exactly good call. We're going to have to make you a referee. Moving pick called, so a timeout precisely as you called it. Maybe you have a better career in coaching, Leaf, but you sure called that one.
Maryland has the ball, 27 seconds left.
Let's take a look at the moving pick. You can't run a downfield interference when a man has possession of the ball, and there it is. Can't do that.
Well, Schaefer is a little bit out of his territory. All 10 people that are on the field for UMBC are charged up. This team is ahead 6-5 in a game that was totally written off for them. So they are charged up. Schaefer was ranging about 20 yards out of the goal. And let's take a look at now the UMBC coach Dick Watts.
Let's listen to Dick Watts.
The last 30 seconds in the gear.
Football season tickets are on sale now. You can call 454-2121. 454-2121. 1985 Maryland football season tickets now on sale.
All right, let it go. Time up. Defense, listen to me. We go man on, and do not go for anything to take the ball away or anything, just a poke check. And laying your stick in the numbers, position, no fouls, no nothing. Just good position, don't let your man beat you no matter where. The 1 and 2 defensemen, if they got a 2-2-2, if the ball's coming up into 1, whoever's that 2 defenseman, you're coming over the back, right? We don't get back from any place else, okay? Look at that scoreboard, don't give up. Now let's go.
One of the most telling statements that was just made there is by one of the players. It said, look at the scoreboard, don't give up. In other words, we can win. That's another way of saying we can win. Dick Watts, as you heard, wants his defenseman in there, play position. He doesn't want any, what we would call in basketball, three-point play. You know, you're down by 3 points in a basketball game. You're going to let the other team go ahead and take a shot and not foul them.
You've seen it happen in every sport. You've got 30 seconds left. You're in a great position. You don't want to make one of those foolish errors that UMBC has been plagued with this year. He wants them to play even up, straight ahead defense. You'll see a lot of that window wiper action I talked about. The defense stick will be waved at them. They'll be trying to bother the attackman, but not gambling.
Leaf, if you're the defense, you get the ball, do you throw it all the way up the end of the field, just give it a Gilman clear?
I guess it depends where you get it. If you get it in the open field, I'd carry it and not let anybody else have it, just try to run for some green space. Kirk Thurston now looks like he's going to ISO. Thurston going in. Edel likes to isolate what he considers the worst defenseman in his offensive scheme. Let's see if he does that here.
5 seconds, 5 seconds.
McGeady working around, he gets a shot, goes inside, he scores! 3 seconds to go, and Maryland knocks it off, 6-6. They'll go at the halftime scored, and it's a miracle happens off this face-off. It's all deadlock, 6-6 as Kirk Thurston pops one.
Let's take a look at it again. This is a very well-placed goal. This is a very nice shot because the goalie had a good angle. You see the ball coming right through and just hitting the pipe and bouncing in, just catching the corner of that pipe. That's a super shot. Let's take a look at it again. Coming around. He's out in the midfield. Doesn't look like the goal's unprotected, and he comes off his stick off of the helmet of the player. By that I mean that as we watch the quarter wind down, by that I mean the helmet of the other player shielded the goalie.
That'll be the end of the first half with Maryland all tied with UMBC 6-6. And this is quite a surprise here at Byrd Stadium at the University of Maryland. Maryland in a must-win situation, and they are faced with a monumental task of beating a UMBC team that is totally charged up. 6-6 now at the halftime as the teams go off the field. And Joe, I've got to say that now as I see the Maryland team down here meeting with Slavlowski, the defensive coach, which team is going off with a better attitude?
Clearly,
UMBC definitely had the momentum going, but the last goal with 3 seconds left had to take something out of that.
Well, right now, the University of Maryland's not, they shouldn't be thinking, boy, we should be blowing these guys out of here. They're thinking, we'd like to get out of here with a win. That's what they need. When the NCAA selection committee looks to choose the teams of the top 8 based on the record, they don't say, boy, they had a great game against Hopkins. They lost in the 4th quarter, or they lost in overtime, and they don't look and say, well, gee, they blew out UMBC. What they say is, how many wins did you have, against who, and how many losses? So right now, the University of Maryland has to put away any thoughts about, boy, you know, we should be playing better. We should be killing them. They should be very happy that they're in this ball game. On the other hand, UMBC now has credibility in their own minds. This is 6-6 against a team that beat North Carolina, and they know in their hearts that if they want to push, they can win this game. On the other hand, their mentality has been in 9 games this year, they've been in them, and they've lost them in the end. So we're just going to have to wait and see what's going to develop in the second half.
Interestingly enough, UMBC, who is pulling the upset here, is led by more senior status. They've got Starkey, a senior. They've got Rotke, a senior. Kevin Lear, he put in a goal. All these guys contributing, and it's going to be a great second half coming up. So with the score 6-6, we'll have more NCAA lacrosse from Byrd Stadium in College Park after these messages. And Joe, the first half was every bit as exciting, if I can say it, as we expected.
Absolutely. University of Maryland and UMBC staying close, and then UMBC scoring 3 unanswered goals after Maryland was up by a score 5-3. The 5th goal coming from the goalie, Jimmy Beardmore. Then UMBC coming back 6-5. Let's take a look at the stats. Now, you talk about an even ball game. Good heavens.
Unbelievable.
That's unbelievable. Shots are absolutely equal. Saves are just a couple apart. Face-offs are equal. Shooting percentage precisely the same. Extra man goals. 1 goal for 2 for UMBC and 1 for 5 for Maryland. Fantastic.
So the stats end up even and the score is even as the second half begins. The face-off specialist Todd Enzer picks up the ball and brings down to Matt McGeady as Matt McGeady will sit on it for a little bit while Enzer comes off the field, and on the fly that midfield unit will change. You'll see McGeady taking his time as the substitution is made through the box.
Difference in this game is going to be mental attitude and coaching. Let's look for mistakes. That's what's going to win this game. Not a good play, but a mistake.
Well, Dick Watts is worried about that mistake. The white team is UMBC, the red is Maryland, and UMBC has been plagued by mental mistakes all year long. So if they can keep from doing that, we may see an upset.
Because Maryland's a freshman-sophomore team, Adele likes to have them in some kind of a pattern offense because then they don't have to worry too much about making mistakes if you give them something to do. UMBC, on the other hand, is the more experienced team, and if they get slowed down, they tend to make more mistakes. What they need to do is hustle and move fast, and that's where they've gotten their goals, on fast break situations where they really move the ball.
Here's that clear that we've seen all day long. It's Hopkin using his fast, his speed burning and going right to the field, clearing it very easily to Kevin Lear. Kevin Lear gets it up to Goss. Goss over to his fellow midi, and that's Rotke, and Rotke settles it down while Hopkin comes back on the field. Now Hopkin takes it and dishes it back to Flagg. Again, Dick Watts wants that offense to work the ball around. Everybody handle it. Chuck Reed comes in. He sees an opening momentarily, but Dan Tracy closes that down real fast. Goss up top. Now, last year, Goss had 12 shots in this game. This year, he only has a couple. And there's another one. Nice screen on the crease by Hotkin, and University of Maryland comes out with the ball. Jensen's looked upfield. He'll settle it down now, look for the clear, and he doesn't see any help. He goes back to Beardmore, who very smartly went away from the goal and called for the ball.
Hotkin's screen was so good that he, in fact, hit the ball. The ball actually hit him. He tried to jump and get out of the way.
Shot was a little high, wasn't it?
Shot was a little high. Hotkin picked his feet up very quickly, try and let the shot come underneath, but unfortunately it hit his foot, so score's still tied. 6-all, 13:09 remaining in the third quarter here down at College Park, coming to you live.
Looks like Coach Dickie Dell has mixed up some of his midfields here. He's using 3 midfields and then a long sticks midfield, so he's using most of his 31-man roster, as we see Beardmore bringing it up to Tracy. Tracy coming right across the line, uncontested. Now he goes back and dishes it off to help there. That's Brian Jackson. Brian Jackson, nobody's picking him up, so he comes back off to McGeady. He had a shot, actually. Didn't take it. McGeady working inside close. That's tough defense from UMBC, being very aggressive, and that'll cost him right there. That'll cost him a minute, and it'll also cost him a goal.
Fantastic shot. Slashing penalty. Took advantage of it, rolled around, and put it high over the head of Dan Schaefer, the goalie for UMBC. So University of Maryland goes up. Let's take a look at it from behind the net. You see the player rolling around to his right, looking up like he's going to feed, and then coming underneath the defense, and right around and up top. Now let's take a look from the ground. Shot once again. This is the same goal you're seeing from a different angle. He's going to roll around, just playing that crease very closely with his feet, faking high, coming around as you see the defenseman leap the net. And he's going to come right over the shoulder of the goalie and puts it in. University of Maryland 7, UMBC 6, and there's a timeout on the field called by Dick Watts. This is the same thing he did when his team was down by 1 goal. It was tied 2-2. Then they went down 3-2 with Maryland on top, and Watts called a timeout and said, boys, let's get organized. And that's when the University of Maryland Baltimore County came back.
Joe, you know what? While we have this break, let's remind our viewers that tomorrow afternoon on Home Team Sports, we'll have some great American League baseball action. If you want to follow the American League East, the Toronto Blue Jays will be going against the Seattle Mariners live from the Kingdome. That's at 4:30 p.m. We're going to bring it to you live on Home Team Sports, so don't miss that tomorrow afternoon on Home Team Sports.
Toronto Blue Jays, a pretty tough team this year. They look like the Orioles' closest challengers right now for the American League pennant, along with Detroit.
Everybody's predicted that they'd be right up there, and of course, it's coming out to that. Let's go down to assistant coach Dave Slav.
Catching the ball in the middle of that crease and run around and shoot him. All right, just stay in close to him. All right, don't worry about backing up. I'll get the team middies to back up. I'll get the team middies to back up. They are, because you're leaving soon.
That's Dave Slavkowski telling him, don't back up. I'll get the middies to back up. In other words, don't leave your man, play your man tight. We'll get you help from elsewhere. He said, don't leave there.
You know, the guy that was playing McGeady as he scored that last goal was Matt Lupero, number 50 for UMBC. He's only a sophomore, an excellent defenseman, but maybe a little too aggressive, and that's what Dick Watts wanted to do. He wanted to settle him down, saying, look, you don't have to go out and take the ball away from these guys. You played well in the first half. Just go back to your game. Don't give them the opportunity to score. Back to the face-off, all-important face-off. Enzer against Ignacio. Ignacio in the white, and he picks up this one. Enzer's been dominating all day long, but Ignacio picks up this, and it's checked away at the last minute by Maryland, but back to UMBC. The wrong way right here. He's got a wrong way Harry as he comes back all the way across the field. Ignacio was a little bit disoriented. He got the ball and came back all the way to Schaefer, and now they've got to clear another 100 yards to get back to the offense.
He had his check. His stick check. I'll get it right. Stick check by the attackman, but followed it up and picked up the ball himself, and he was spun around a little bit, but UMBC making a nice clear now.
Here's Goss getting worked hard by the defense, and there's Hopkin, the speed merchant. He comes in, he's got a shot, and he comes off the backside of the net. It looked like a goal, and Beardmore comes all the way out. He's out of the goal. Beardmore's loose. If they get a shot, they'll score, and they can't quite get it together. UMBC had an opportunity. Beardmore, being ever aggressive as he always is, came back to the back line, Joe, lost his stick, and if UMBC could have gotten a shot from the crease, a sure goal.
Absolutely.
Now we'll settle it down. UMBC again. Starkey back to Rocky. Rocky likes to drive the right-hand side. He's got a good right-handed shot. Now he's got motion. He's inside. He gets a beautiful goal.
That was fantastic. You talk about threading the needle. There was a goalie and 2 defensemen there. You couldn't have gotten a postage stamp in there, and yet he found a place for the ball and got it in. And so the University of Maryland, Baltimore County, responds immediately to tie the game up 7-all. Let's take a look at it again. Now, take a look as we see him driving to his right. You're going to see some help coming in there for the goalie. Here comes the defenseman, and it's right in on the inside of Beardmore's left ear. Let's take a look at it. This is from a ground shot, really low down. You're at the same position of player, just like you were shooting the ball yourself. Look at it. Right up in the upper corner.
Well, you might have noticed that was Todd Enzer, the faceoff specialist that was in there playing defense against Rodkey. Rodkey took advantage of it, went down the pipe, and here's Maryland coming right back and getting a shot off at their end of the field, blocked down by Schaefer, but still maintained by Maryland, and they score another goal. That's number 24, Gus Martin, putting it in. He's a senior, and he put the University of Maryland back up 8-7. Both of these teams showing a lot of heart.
Running and gunning right now is probably what neither coach wants. Both coaches wants to keep the game controlled and holding on to the ball. Let's take a look from behind the goal. Bounce shot being saved out.
It's Willard, Joe. I thought it was Martin on UMBC. This is Willard from Maryland.
And he shoots right across. Now we have an isolated camera on Willard. Let's take a look at him as he comes in right-handed, puts the ball right down. The ball is not, in fact, going to goal. It's picked up from behind. A bounce shot in between on the left side, catching on the goalie's offside, right in the goal to tie it up, to put Maryland on top, 8-7 over UMBC. The goals are coming fast and furious now as UMBC's on a fast break.
Fast break action. They've set up the box, but they can't get the pass back to Starkey. University of Maryland, the red is all over. And look at that body check. The ball's still on the ground, and now Dan Tracy gets it. He's being ridden by Rodkey, but he's open. He'll find Beardmore on the far side. Now Beardmore will race up and set that clear up. He's going to settle down now and blocked down by Rodkey. He can score if he gets it in, and he does. A beautiful play. And this University of Maryland Baltimore County team is really fired up. Rodkey is having a ball. This team is here to win, Joe, and they're showing a lot of heart.
He really did. He gave us a little juke. He did a tremendous job. He put his stick. He played stick-to-stick on Beardmore. Stopped the ball, intercepted, and it's on the ground. And now he's going to pick it up, and Beardmore and he are going to play a cat-and-mouse game. Beardmore's just throwing his stick out there. He's dead.
Rodkey showing a lot of class there, a lot of experience waiting that long to shoot.
Let's take a look at it. Ball down on the ground. He waits till Beardmore's in there, spins around, and puts the ball in the goal, and he does a little juke afterward.
Joe, that is what can happen to a goalie as good an athlete as Beardmore is. He gets caught out of the goal, and sometimes he'll get in a bad situation and give up an easy one.
He's typical of the Maryland team, sophomore team. Like the little girl with a curl in the middle of their forehead. When they're good, they're very, very good. When they're bad, they're awful.
Todd Enzer gets, again, another face-off. He is dominating the face-offs, it seems, or at least he has an edge in this half, giving Maryland the ball, but not the lead, as University of Maryland and UMBC are tied 8-8. We've got 10 minutes left in this third quarter, and there's a shot by Tony Allmer, saved by Schaefer, and the ball's on the crease. They got to clear it out. You'll see some bodies going, and Goss gets it, fires it up to Hodgkin. If he can pick it up, he's on his way. He can't quite get it. Back to Goss. Goss looking for help now. Look at the Reds drop in. They're dropping in for defense. Goss wants to get a shot. He's double-teamed. He should let go of the ball, and he settles back now, looking for help. Picked off by Beardmore, a pass that he telegraphed all the way, Joe, with his eyes.
Absolutely. He could see it all the way. And you're right. When you're double-teamed, that means somebody else has to be open. Just as you said, he should have gotten it off. Unfortunately, the pass went behind, and it was thrown right into Beardmore's stick. A lot of times, the attackman behind forget that there's a goalie in there. I know that sounds stupid, but from behind the goal, they're looking out front at the defensemen, defensive middies, and their own players, and they throw that ball, and there's Beardmore with that great big crab net there, and he just grabbed it out of the sky. And now with the score knotted at 8-all, 9:23 remaining in this third quarter, Beardmore slowly bringing the ball up. This is a whale of a ball game, Lee.
Some kind of game, and it means so much to both teams. Maryland has to win to have a chance to get to the national tournament. UMBC wants to win because UMBC has a lot of talent and not very many wins to show for it. They want to prove to the lacrosse world that they're pretty good.
And we've got an offsides.
There's Tony Allmer. They can get a shot off if they take it inside now. And there's two penalties. Hodgkin gets a slash in the head. There's two flags down. Hodgkin finally gets the ball knocked away. But with a two-penalty situation, Joe, how will that be called?
We're going to see an offsides first, technical, and let's see the second one. It looks like it's going to be a slashing penalty. So it's going to be a 1-minute penalty.
They take the heaviest penalty?
They're going to take the heaviest penalty, and depending the player, it could be on the same player, and he could be out for a minute and a half, or they could be two down for a minute and then, or for a half minute, and then one down for the second half of that minute, because the penalties would be served together. Sounds a little technical, but let's take a look. They're going to be down one man, apparently for a minute and a half. So UMBC will go into the 5-man down man defense. Once again, Watts showing, very unusually, a zone defense like we would see with North Carolina. Let's take a look at the slash. You'll see the referee after that drop his hat, maybe.
Again, there's already one penalty down, offsides, and that was the slash that got him the second penalty. Now we'll work the extra man play. It's Maryland in the red going against the UMBC in the white. They'll try to block out the crease area, make Maryland shoot from outside, but they got to cross the crease, and that should have been a goal. Guy Riccardi, who is a freshman midi, came in and absolutely missed the 6x6 goal. He had an easy one there.
Absolutely. Now University of Maryland again with an extra man situation. Both teams have only scored once on extra man.
You know, Dickie Dell was anticipating Watts shutting off one of the guys on extra man. He's always seen that from Watts. Watts kind of mixed him up a little bit by not doing that. Now back out to side. Better looks at the crease. He gets a good feed in, but double checked by two men from UMBC, and they are all over Maryland with their sticks. Now they've got to drop back in. If they move the ball fast, they should get a shot. Maryland moving the ball, trying to make the white defensive players rotate and finally get an open shot. Now they'll go behind. Extra man situation. Maryland in red, looking for a good play. There's Willard. He had a shot. He gives it up. Go to Riccardi. Now they push in from the wing. There's another penalty, Joe. It's going to be against UMBC, so Maryland gets a free shot.
It's going to be a slashing call, and here's the feed out front. Maryland didn't take advantage of it.
Let's explain to everybody how that happens when you have it's the delayed call on a personal foul. If you have possession, you get a chance to make that shot. And the indicators are if you take it out of the box or go away from the goal.
The purpose is that you don't want the team committing the foul to have the advantage of stopping play. Obviously, if you had a situation where a guy was coming in on a fast break or wide open, as we watch his slash, you could just stop the play by slashing him. But instead, as you see the referee throwing that flag up in the air, they say you can go ahead and keep the ball, keep playing with it until the ball either goes out of the box or until the play stops. And that's what happened when there's a check. As we look down on the...
looks like so they're looking at the penalty clock from the first penalty to see what situation they're going to be in when they double these things up. Because actually you can have two players in the box at one time now, which would be very tough on UMBC.
Listen, we'll listen to them.
8:56 at 4 and 48 and at 17. I mean, 20, 30.
Yeah, a minute 30 on the 20 guy. Okay, that broke right here.
All right.
So it looks like a minute and 21 seconds. Minute and 12.
So he's got
18 seconds.
18 seconds left on the first foul. Okay. 28 white is down for 2 minutes.
Okay, yeah, 18 seconds on the first foul.
All right, so 28 white.
18 seconds on the first foul.
Now we're for 2 minutes down.
All right, there's the verdict, Joe. There are two men down for UMBC.
Scott Fredericks, the bench official, was the guy that you heard talking to Eddie Studi, the referee, excuse me.
You and I
down there
both
in the
remember
field.
the days when Eddie Studi was a great goalie for the for Maryland Lacrosse Club, and
That's
he was
true.
a good one.
And so the bottom line is this, that they'll be two down for a period of apparently 18 seconds, and then they'll be down by one man for at least a minute. And I heard they said a 2-minute penalty. That means UMBC is only going to have 4 men in front of the goal. They will not slide. They'll form what's just called a box, just 4 corners. They'll stand there with the sticks in the air, and University of Maryland's going to try and force that ball in to get the goal.
That's what you're going to see. Joe couldn't have said it better. You'll see a box set up in front of Schaefer. You'll see Maryland stay pretty much in front of the goal, work the ball, and try to penetrate that box to get somebody either inside or to get a good outside shot against it. The box won't move too much. It'll just hint toward the side of the field where the ball is.
Sometimes it's harder to score against this kind of a situation because you never practice against it.
Well, we'll see if Maryland can do it. They'd love to get one here. It's 8-8 with 7 minutes left in the third quarter. It's a big game for Maryland. They have to win to advance into that national tournament. As Riccardi back and forth with Willard. Willard's the big gun. Willard wants up top, and there's a bad pass into the crease. Lupero knocks it down, and now they'll try to go back inside. And lucky for them, there was a call because that ball was coming into Maryland on a 1-on-2. They had everybody for UMBC on the back line, and Maryland had the ball.
Bad mistake by the defenseman, too. He should have taken that ball and thrown it the length of the field. Instead, he flipped it out. Maryland got it, but fortunately, there was a moving pick that, although it was against UMBC, worked to their advantage by stopping the ball.
Now they're only 1 man down. UMBC in the white, 5 men against a 6. Standard 6-man unit for Maryland in the red. And they're looking for a good shot, working out to Bedard. Bedard goes over to Willard. Willard up top. He's taking charge of that extra man offense. He's got a real good shot from up top, and that's what they want to get. If they play him tough, he'll go to the wing. And this is Riccardi bringing it in, a good-looking freshman midfielder. You know, Willard was from West Genesee, which is up in Syracuse. I wonder how Roy Simmons from Syracuse let this one get away.
He usually is pretty good at keeping those local boys. That's how he won the national championship 2 years ago at Syracuse.
Moving the ball up. Maryland looks like they had a shot there, but they didn't quite handle it. That was Pat Burke. Now, Pat Burke, interestingly enough, went to UMBC 2 years ago. He was the second leading scorer as a freshman, transferred here to Maryland, and he is only a sophomore, having redshirted last year. He's a guy that Dick Watts thought he would have to shut off today.
Psychologically, that's a great play for UMBC, down by 2 men and then 1 man. University of Maryland never even got a shot off on extra man, and so the score is still tied 8-all, but UMBC is going to have to try and clear this ball, and they're a man down.
Here's Hopkin again. Hopkin, if his legs can hold up, he's going to be doing a lot more clearing in this last quarter and a half. He gets this one, and he's got a one-on-one. If he gets a shot off, and he does get it off, but it's deflected wide of the goal, and that'll be a foot race. And looks like off a shot, they're going to give it back to Maryland as Flagg dove in head first and was closer to the ball when it went out of bounds. No matter where the ball goes out of bounds, if it comes off a shot, it goes to the closest man to it. Now,
let's take a look at the foot rate. He's going to dodge so he can break the tape here. He wants to, and it's who's closest to the ball at the point it went out, when it went out. That sounds a little technical, but when the ball goes out, the man closest to that point.
You saw Brian Jackson play the man. Flagg was smart enough to see that coming. He dove underneath it. He was closer to the ball, so he got the ball back for his team, and that would be UMBC, who is staging an upset here. There are only 6 minutes left in the third quarter, and this game is all tied. It's everybody's surprise because Maryland, highly touted as possible, they were ranked 5th, as a matter of fact, last week, losing to Delaware earlier this week, and if they lose today, they'll probably be out of that national tournament. Rodkey drops the ball, and it hit the line, and unfortunately, that ball control from Rodkey, the tough pressure put on by Maryland, took the ball away, he dropped it, and they lost it.
Let's take a look at it. Right in the ground, camera just touching.
Can't get a better shot than that, can you, Joe?
Referees are right. You know, we see that so many times on the replays. People complain about refereeing in every sport, but in most of the time, 99% of the time, the referees are right. And the times that they're not right, you know, that's part of the ball game. They're human just like the players. If they make a mistake, well, you know, that's just too bad.
It balances in the most.
It sure does. Beardmore on a deep ride now, deep ride. They want to catch him out of the box.
He's over to Dan Tracy, who's the #1 defenseman for the University of Maryland. He pushes upfield, and he looks inside, and they've got a shot off this one. If it gets inside, they don't quite get the shot as they pull back off, and inside, that was Tom Worstel. Worstel didn't take it. Now it's Willard. He'll take it, and he gets a shot that bounces off of Schaefer's stick. Schaefer was there for it, but he leaned back too far, trying to read the save, and it rolled off his head.
That's a tough situation. He looked up to see if the ball was in his stick, and as he did, he tilted it back. Let's take a look from behind the net. Nice save made by Schaefer. Pardon me, but he's going to roll his stick back, and it's just going to slip right on the top. There's, oh no!
Willard's having a heck of a game, Joe. 4 goals last year, and here he is getting his 3rd or 4th today. We'll check the stats. That's his 3rd.
There it is. Beautiful, jumping up in the air, putting his entire body into it, reminiscent of watching a highlight almost.
You know, Willard is, Dickie Dell considers Willard the best player on the team working off the ball. He is dangerous. If somebody else has the ball, he is always cutting and trying to get open. Tony Allman coming in to try to get a big goal. He shoots, and Schaefer snuffs it down. Now, he cannot be interfered with. No call was made. Schaefer will set to clear, and a little bit too casual on that, and that might cost him.
Another great save, and right now Schaefer's keeping them in the game. That was a point-blank shot. Schaefer made a brilliant save. High, and UMBC is taking control.
Ball is actually Gilman upfield, a term we use to just blindly throw it up and clear it. But UMBC under a lot of pressure from Maryland. Now, Maryland, Joe, we talked about using the numbers and how the numbers may add up.
Let's take a look at that save by Schaefer. That's hard to say. That's like seashells by the seashore. Beautiful high save, and this is after Schaefer had given up a goal that he himself scored by letting the ball roll out of his stick. So he returns the favor by making a save. University of Maryland getting a nice shot there, knocked down by UMBC.
Lupero against Tracy, 1-on-1. Here's Flagg. Flagg can put this goal back, get this game back tight, and he does. Jeff Flagg, the guy we talked about at the head of the show, he's overcome so much adversity, and he is showing his leadership. His 3rd goal of the game, he picked up that on the clear, came right down, made one nice little fake, head fake to Beardmore, and he puts UMBC right back in the game.
Let's take a look. He could have faked over to 9. He could have thrown over to 9, but he has a wide-open goal with Beardmore, just he, one-on-one, and he goes over. And let's take a look at an isolation that we had on Flagg coming down the field. Here he is all by himself, switching from left hand to right hand, his power shot, and putting it right in the goal. So UMBC tying the University of Maryland at 9-all, and there's a player down on the field.
Let's say injury to Blaine Gregg, I think. And his leg, it's a calf. Looks like a calf tightened up on him.
Yeah, this is what happens. Players run a lot. They lose the salt in their body. Nobody hit him. He was fine. But suddenly his leg just gave out on him. He's down the field. They'll rub it up. He's going to be fine.
Joe, this brings up what I was trying to talk about before that last goal or save by Schaefer that we were showing on replay. And that's the fact that we have 31 players for Maryland that are playing very deep in rotation. And now late in the game, that may be taking its toll on UMBC. It looks like they are applying more pressure on the defensive end of the field.
Well, that's going to be the name of the game, because the hustle up and down this field, although the temperature is not a factor per se, it's not 40 degrees out here, it's about 75 degrees out here. As you see the shirtless crowd out there, and that's a little something for the ladies there, some of the beefcake. It's going to be a factor, particularly into the fourth quarter in the transition game, Leaf. And that's where UMBC's been getting their goals, these transition games.
Actually, that was Jeff Flagg on the ground. Let's make a correction on that. He's bringing off right now. Jeff Flagg tightened up his calf. That hard run coming in to score that last goal. Again, maybe used up a little too much potassium or something in there. And he got a little knot in the leg. But he looks okay.
We get a nod over from our booth from one of our visitors. Howard Jones is here, an old player for Dick Watson High School. Howard was an All-American from Amherst, and he's a doctor now down in Vanderbilt, and he agrees with your diagnosis there, Lee.
So I can be a doctor as well as a referee? There's Dick Watts, head coach at UMBC. The head coach for 15 of their 16 years. He inherited a team that was 5-6 in 1971. He did great things with it all the way through the 70s, culminating in 1980 with the Division II title.
And of course, the NCAA eliminated, as we look down at Jeff Flagg getting his leg worked on, NCAA eliminated the Division II in lacrosse, and we have Divisions 1 and 3, and they had a choice to make, and they went to Division 1, and it's been a little bit of a tough road.
The first year he was 8-3, almost made the playoffs. Each year he's got I can think from 8 wins to 7 wins to 6 wins, and this year 1-9. But this team, as he said, has not given up.
Then they're going over to the bench official now, and there's going to be a face-off. There seems to be a little bit of discussion there on the sidelines.
You know, for the last face-off, see if we can pick this up. This break will be good for UMBC. We talked about the number of players that Maryland is putting into the game, 31, using the whole roster. And looking at for the face-off, Todd Enger is still out there for Maryland. He did not face off last time. If you remember, he was beaten on a one-on-one, and then Chris O'Brien went in and faced off that particular time.
And we're advised that the clock had still been running, and they had to go back and reset it. Just a little technical, and I'm sure nobody was doing it on purpose. I don't think it's to anybody's advantage, certainly not the University of Maryland, who's controlling the clock, to have it run down. They'd like to keep this game going so they could run UMBC off their feet, but UMBC hasn't shown any real signs of weakness yet, Leaf.
They haven't. You know, a team that's 1-9 that has had so many bad breaks as they have, you're 9-9 against a team like Maryland who is on the way to the playoffs. If they win today, this can make their season at this point.
You know, the University of Maryland is the kind of team that, you know, in playing an extra man situation, in playing with Johns Hopkins in the overtime, not extra man, the overtime situation, here they are staying till the overtime sudden death situation with the #1 team now ranked with last year's NCAA champions, and here they are tied with a team that's only won 1 game all year. So, you know, this is the kind of team that maybe they could eke into the playoffs if they win this game, and you don't know, they could be a real contender once they get in the playoffs.
They've showed that ability. They've held Adelphi and Hopkins to the lowest point totals of the year, so they've got a tremendous defense led by Beardmore, as we've shown you. And there's the face-off. Ignacio trying to get it out to the wing. The ball was checked away, and it'll go over to Maryland. And each face-off, as we get it later and later into the game, there are 4 minutes left now, gets more and more critical. Maryland will bring the ball into play, and it'll be put in play by Alan McGuckian. He's a junior middie from St. Mary's right around Annapolis, which is almost close enough to see.
That's right. They're going to double team him, and he's going to have to get the ball back to Beardmore. And he's the guy that UMBC wants to handle the ball.
Beardmore rifled it out, and he was shut off beautifully by Rodkey. Rodkey came in, did not challenge Beardmore as far as taking the ball away from him, because that's what Beardmore wants. If you go at him, he'll go around you. But if you just stay up and screen him and give him poor alleys to feed from, that's what happened there. He didn't have much stick.
Now let's take a look. You're going to see the defensive player giving it the college try. Look at him. He's going to really dive, and it just beyond the stick.
Rodkey screened Beardmore and didn't give him much of an alley to throw on, and that's what the big key there was. Now, Maryland is shutting off Hopkins, so he cannot clear. So now UMBC has to clear with the defenseman, and they can't do it. Back to Maryland. It worked. Dickie Dell shut off Hopkins, and it worked that time. The ball goes back to Maryland.
Once again, we said this game would be decided on coaching moves and mistakes of the players. And that was a very good coaching move by Dickie Dell. Hopkins has been making easy clears all afternoon on Maryland.
Brandon Hanley, the left-handed, the natural left-hander, works that left-handed side. He can shoot from there, and he does. He rolls around. He rolled away from the goal, shot right-handed, almost no angle at all, and he put it in nice and high against Schaefer.
And when he rolls like that, the goalie never sees the ball coming out of his stick, and that's... You'll see him coming in just like you described, Leaf, on that roll, and he's going to turn inside jump up and put it right by the goalie, and that's goal number 3 for him.
Yeah, the key for that goal is that he shot the ball before he even saw where to shoot it. Schaefer wasn't quite ready. Normally you get to see eye contact. Schaefer was like a half a step behind that, and that ball was right on the money.
You know, that's a very important point as we watch this face-off, Leaf, and that is eye contact. That's when the offensive players shoot at the goalie when they can't see his eyes because of the screen.
And here comes Rodke right back. He'll shoot from there, and he gets another goal. UMBC refuses to quit, and we have a tie game at 10-10. 3 minutes, 30 seconds left. Rodke and every other senior has refused to wilt under the pressure of this Maryland team.
And Rodke with a hat trick, his 3rd goal. They're coming right on back. You're going to see it saved by Beardmore in that it hit his stick, and it's going to roll off of his stick. Rolled off of his stick and into the goal. He had a stick on that ball, but it bounced off. Let's take a look once again on the fast break, coming down right across the face of the goal. Shot just bounced off of Beardmore's stick in the goal. So just as you said, UMBC not letting its counterpart from College Park get up on them without a response. These teams have played kind of evenly for a while, and then we see a quick spurt of a couple goals, and then they play evenly again.
They are not letting either team, whoever scores, the other team is coming right back and not letting them get too much of a margin. They're toughening up when they have to toughen up. Again, the all-important face-off. Ignacio and Enzer. Ignacio squirts it out between his legs. He gets it. He pulls it back nicely. And Goss trying to body block him out of position. They can't get it. Ignacio lost control. He lost sight of the ball, as a matter of fact. And now Enzer gets the ball. He's not real smooth with the stick. And right there, he throws it right into a UMBC defender's stick. So that shows you why Enzer probably isn't playing a complete game. He's excellent at facing off, but a little bit rough in other areas.
A lot of hustle by UMBC off of the ball, and that's the name of the game. That's why they picked it up. They're still hustling. Those mistakes were caused by diligent play by UMBC.
Let's see if we get any other adjustments. We don't have Hodgkin back there. Dick Watts has left Hodgkin up in the midfield because of that shutoff. He's put somebody else down there. That's Goss, 25. Goss off to his defenseman, and UMBC clears with the defenseman. Another tactical move. They are playing a chess game here, Joe. And right now, Dick Watts has the ball where he wants it.
2 very, very bright coaches in Edel and Watts.
It's real complicated, the midfield stripe, even for people that know the game, to find out the offsides, whether it's been maintained or not. So it's very tough for referees, but right there in that situation, UMBC did a great job of moving their people around, changing the ride, changing the clear, rather, right in the middle of the game when they needed to do it. It was successful. Now, Goss, he likes to shoot from up top. Let's see if he gets it. He loves his right hand, too. He's being pressured nicely by Maryland. He won't get a shot. Now this is Rodke coming out, taking the ball. Rodke, a senior. He's a right-hander, likes the right-handed alley. Now we'll get it over to that's Rodke up top, and Starkey takes a right-handed shot. They drop it down to Starkey, who likes the cannon from the right, and he just wound up and let it go.
That's exactly what UMBC is looking for, that unsettled off-man backdoor situation where they move the ball, get a slide, and they have a nice screen shot coming off the right side. Let's take a look at it. Starkey cranking up and putting the ball on the opposite side of Beardmore, and UMBC goes up 11-10.
Take a look at Beardmore, Joe, through this series. Here's Beardmore planting his feet. He's looking for the shot, but it comes in real, probably too close for him to really read. It was a hard shot.
And if you see him turning to his right and the ball went to his left, that tells you one thing. He never saw that shot, Leaf. He was turning to his right, the ball went to his left. That meant it had to come off of the screen, and that's why he wasn't very effective, because if you didn't see it from his perspective, you think that would be an easy goal to stop.
And the screen was by his own player, because there was 3 defensemen on Starkey at that moment.
So UMBC, a few seconds ago, down 9-10, now on top 11-10.
They're taking the lead for maybe the first time this half as they come roaring back. And there's only a minute and 40 seconds left in the third quarter. Maryland facing a tremendous amount of pressure. They must win today if they want any hope of advancing to the NCAA Championship Series. They take 8 teams. Maryland came into the week ranked 5th. They've already lost to Delaware, and here they go. They're putting pressure in the offensive half of the field. Dan Tracy, their best defenseman, looking for help. He can't find help. Starkey dragging him. Now there's a penalty down. Looks like an offsides against UMBC.
Once again, the UMBC apparently offsides. This happened to them several times, and this is exactly what you talked about before. Mental errors, Leaf. These are the thing that has been plaguing the University of Maryland, Baltimore County all throughout the year. So it appears as though the University of Maryland's going to have an extra man opportunity. The last time they did, there were 2 men down, and they got snuffed. And that really put some impetus into the Retrievers' game, and they came back and went ahead of Maryland. Now Maryland with a chance to tie it up with an extra man situation, 6-on-5.
It really is a shame because they are playing one heck of a game, and if it wasn't for the mental errors, they may have a 2 or 3 goal lead. They're set up now in that tough rotating zone, or rotating defense. They're moving around. Now they're shutting off a man. Watts has gone to a shut-off maneuver. Now watch Maryland. They're ready for it. They're going 5-on-4. They're ready for it, but so is Schaefer. Schaefer picks off the shot right on the crease. The University of Maryland was ready for Watts to shut off a man. He shut him off. They went right into their offense, but Schaefer came up with a great save, and now UMBC can get the ball. If they get it in their own half, here comes Hopkins. He's got wheels. Let him get a shot off if he can. He'll shoot. He does, and a beautiful save by Beardmore. It's still alive. He looks to the crease. That's Chucky Reed. Chucky Reed can't get out of the pack. He's being checked all over the place, and the ball is pushed out. It'll be off of Reed's stick, going to Maryland.
That was a very, very alert defensive move by the University of Maryland as one of the players is down. It looks like number 30, Dan Tracy, and he's the anchor, the ace of the defense. They'd sure hate to lose him. Okay, now let's take a look at it. What happens is Tracy's going to run into his own man in hot pursuit. They can't let UMBC get this goal. They'd be 2 goals up, and here he is, getting clunked by his own man, and he got rolled over there a little bit.
That's Jensen's and number 4, Brian Jackson.
Brian Jackson stepped on him, and Tracy's hurting a little bit. Not a dirty play. It just happened by his own man.
I tell you, the intensity is getting pretty intense.
And as we look, Dick Watts walking out there, he's very, very calm. Sometimes Dick can be a little vociferous.
I guess it depends which end of the score he's on, right? Right now, he's looking pretty good, 11-10.
Well, he's kept his cool, and that's reflected in the team. They've been very, very cool. They have been ecstatic when they pulled ahead, but they haven't gone nuts about it, and they've really held their own. Right now, the University of Maryland in trouble, down 11-10 with a possibility of their ace defenseman being hurt. I'm sure he'll get up, has to come off the field.
As we look at Dan Tracy, let's remind our fans that next week on Home Team Sports, we've got a lot of activity for you. On Monday, Home Team Sports Beat. And if you like the activity today, watch Home Team Sports Beat, because with the Larry King Show, we'll have a live call-in with Maryland coach Dickie Dell and Johns Hopkins coach Don Zimmerman. So you'll get a chance to call up and ask questions and learn more about their techniques and this game in particular. Then on Tuesday, the Orioles versus Kansas City. That'll be from KC. And Wednesday, professional boxing. All that coming up next week on Home Team Sports.
And if Dickie Dell doesn't win today, he's probably going to be getting some telephone calls on Larry King's show that he doesn't want to answer.
He may get a call from Dick Dahl.
I think that he's pretty secure in his job here, and I don't think there's really any question about that. Dick Dell is just his 2nd year in the program. As we listened down the field, there's Dan Tracy limping off a little bit.
You know, Dan Tracy, the way Dell usually sets up his defensive people, he does a physical matchup. He'll take Tracy, his best guy, put him against the number 1 guy or the quickest attackman on the other team. He'll take Brian Jackson, who is bigger, and put him against the stronger attackman. And he'll take Coughlin, who's the 3rd of the starters, and put them against the number 3 man. Today, he abandoned all that because he wanted his team to play their game. They needed to get a spark. They needed to get back to what made them good early on in the season.
And right now what they need is a goal. And Beardmore, they're letting him come out in a deep ride. They want the defense to handle that ball so they can catch them with Beardmore out of the goal.
They get a breakaway. There's Maryland coming on down as they might get a shot from in close, and they do. If he gets around, he does. The attack pulling real close, and there's some pushing and shoving inside, but that was Eric Corbin, the attackman that followed Dickie Dell down here from Army, and that was maybe his first goal of the game, and he is an excellent attackman, and what... Now they have Pat Burke here as the goal.
Pat Burke rolled around there, and he really took a lick. He really took a lick as the ball went behind the goal. He'll come around here, and he's so mad that after he shoots his goal, he's going to take his stick and hit the defenseman again if we have it. There's the ball in the goal, and he gets hit again. And as we take a look at it again, and after this goal, he let the defenseman have it in the face with the stick. There it is. Going to fake him up and down and come underneath. And there's a late hit. He didn't like it, and there it is. He took a little bit of a swat at his face.
Great play. I thought it was 12 Corbin, but obviously it was 15 Burke. And Burke, again, started his career at UMBC. And he, incidentally, Joe, he was the one player that Dick Watts wanted to cut off in this game. He didn't care about Willard, who scored 4 goals last year. He wanted to put his best defenseman, McGeaney, against Pat Burke.
You know, we've had another quarter here, and it hasn't helped us. It's still a tie ball game.
It's a tie ball game. At the end of 3, it's Maryland 11, UMBC 11. And we are really in a barn burner here. Let's go down to the huddles and see what Dickie Dell's going to do about this 4th quarter coming up.
forcing it inside. We're not forcing it inside, and give us a screen on that outside shot. Okay? All right. 6 on 6. 6 on 6. And let's put the shots down. Put the shots down. We got the screen. Will's sitting in there now. We got the screen. Use him. Use him. All right? Zone look. We're ready for it. All right? Because as soon as we go behind the cage, we drop into it automatic. We drop into the zone. Out front, we'll take the sweep. Out front, we'll take the sweep. It's still the same. It's still the same screen look. All right?
Keep pushing.
I'd sure like another Stroh's.
No way. Alex, 2 cold Stroh's.
Where do you see this?
Just open the refrigerator. Just open one bottle. Just open the other. Now he's pouring yours. Now he's pouring mine. Alex, you better be drinking your water.
Stroh's and Stroh Light, fire brewed for smoother taste.
It's an absolutely gorgeous day here at Byrd Stadium on the campus of the University of Maryland. I'm Lee Felsmone along with Joe Harlan. We are seeing an absolutely outstanding lacrosse game. Maryland's back's against the wall, Joe. It's 11-11. They've got to win this final quarter to advance possibly into the national championships. The face-off now, Todd Enzer. And you see a defenseman was put in on the face-off to get that. And he ended up being very successful as Maryland came up with the face-off. That was 35, John Merrill, who was on the wing. He's a freshman. He came in with that long stick and helped Enzer out. He gets the face-off, and now Maryland will be very patient. They know it's going to be a 1 or 2 goal that's going to win this game. They want to get a shot.
Well, you were right before when you said it's a chess game. That's what we talked about at the beginning of the third quarter, and that is that the coaching moves are going to be very important here. You see defensively, they've isolated Hodgins, so he couldn't run the ball off. On extra man situations, we've seen a change, and now in the face-off.
Oh, a fast substitution put Maryland in a good spot to get a shot. They got 2 shots, 1, then 2. Didn't quite beat Schaefer, though. Excellent play by Maryland. Chris O'Brien came in on the fly as a substitution. His defenseman was not watching him all the way. He flew right by him, got a feed, and Schaefer picked it up. Didn't quite get the goal, but they got a good shot, and the ball still in their possession. Maryland now working around, controlling. That's Pat Burke. He has the last goal, the one that tied it up for Maryland. As they work around, Hanley now on the far side. Looking, Burke, you got 2 left-handers in there, 2 natural lefties. Of course, they go both ways. They're all very talented, but the natural hand is usually the strongest. And Pat Burke comes to that left side, looking for a break. Here's Hanley. Hanley looks to the crease, picked off by Schaefer, just as casual as you please. As he looks up for help, he has 5 seconds in the crease. He backs off, looks to the wing, and now the clear with the midfielder. That's Goss for UMBC.
You know, Lee, before this game, I have to be honest, I really thought Maryland was going to knock UMBC off pretty handily. You disagreed. You looked at the past couple games, the past couple years, and you're right. Even though the University of Maryland did prevail, they've always been good games. This is kind of an Army-Navy type situation where both teams, no matter how they're doing during the year, really play equally.
A lot of times in rivalries in all sports that happens. It doesn't matter where the teams are at a particular time of the year. They just feel good against a certain team. And I think UMBC always feels good and is up to the task of playing a good game against Maryland. The talent may not be equal, but certainly the will is. Rocky bringing it up the middle, beating one man and then another as he comes into the offensive half. He sees nobody's picked him up. He wants to shoot. He will shoot. He comes in, no. Wide of the goal, looks back to the crease. And now Goss will have to pick it up. He isn't being pressured too much, so he will settle it down. And now he is instructed to settle it down by his midfielder. As that's Hodgkin. Hodgkin's a little bit tired, Joe. He says to Goss, slow it down, take our time. Both teams, again, they don't care if they win 12-11 or 20-11. 12-11 will be just fine. So they're taking their time, trying to make the best out of every offensive situation. Working the perimeter, getting good pressure from Maryland.
Watching a good end zone shot now. This is what it looks like from behind the goal. It gives you a good perspective from the team, just like this is the way the player sees the game.
Starkey moving in. Starkey, 6'3", 200, good size against Jackson. And here's Hodgkin with a good move. He's quick. And an excellent check. Puts the ball by O'Brien out front. But Goss has a cannon and a screen. It bounced off the screen. And look at the bodies clearing out the crease. Beardmore fishes it out of a little bit of traffic. Flag is hassling him. He can't quite get the ball. And there it's knocked down. If UMBC could have gotten that, it could have been another goal for them and a well-timed goal. Chris O'Brien. Chris O'Brien is not picked up. He'll look for a shot. He feeds across. 2 passes. Pat Burke backhanded and does not get the shot.
Any interference goal.
A poor choice of shots for Pat Burke on the far side, Joe. He's a left-hander. He had a right-handed shot. He tried to pull back to his left hand, but it didn't work out for him.
Let's take a look at it as Schaefer stuffs him. This would have been a great turnaround for University of Maryland. He comes in, bad choice, just as you said. Goalie's waiting for it, stuffs him right there, and not only that, he'll turn around and hit his stick while he has possession, which means that UMBC gets a free clear. And that's how fast things turn in lacrosse. Goalie for Maryland made a good save, made a great clear, brought it up, shot on goal, stuffed, and the ball's right back to UMBC. Score all tied, 11 all.
You know, when you go backhand like that, Joe, there is no second guessing a goalie, or there's no faking him. The goalie knows your only shot is a weak one, and he goes right to it. Now Starkey behind, controlling for UMBC in the white against Maryland in the red. I'm Lee Felsmo along with Joe Hearn. There's 11 minutes left in an all-tie game. A real surprise to anybody who's followed these two teams this year as Rocky comes in and shoots and scores. There's a penalty on the play, but UMBC looks like they will have a one-goal lead, and they are ecstatic.
They are absolutely going crazy. The record of UMBC belies their ability, and everybody has said that. Every team that has played UMBC said, boy, were we lucky to win this game. Of course, they were tired of looking at it. Here it is again. Goes way up in the air, on top, over top of Beardmore. And let's take a look at it. We're going to have an isolated shot on Reed. He's going to come in, spin inside his man, beats his defenseman, goes up in the air, and right across Beardmore's stick.
You know, it's a good thing our producer isn't listening to me. I keep getting my 6s and 9s turned around. I call that Rocky as he comes in. That, of course, was Chuck Reed. An excellent play from him. He's a midi that went to attack this year and back to midfield, and he's really producing for this team. Ball comes inside. Again, he gets it. That's Reed. He's being double team, now triple team. He should kick it out for some help if he can, and Maryland picks it up. That's Dan Tracy. He's being hit hard. Jackson looks for help. Jackson gets it up top. Everybody knowing how important, and that is Starkey. Starkey looks for inside help, and he can't get it. Now Tracy, he'll try to go back to Beardmore if he can. He sees Beardmore now calling for the ball. Beardmore calling, he gets it. Beardmore now immediately assumes control. He will set up the clear. Beardmore noticed that UMBC was falling back quickly with the midi, so he got the ball up real fast. McGeady taking it across into the offensive half of the field for Maryland, and he will keep pushing until he's taken up by a defenseman. He is taken up by a defenseman, so he turns back, gives it to Kirk Thurston, and he's coming off the field for a substitution.
And right now, what Adele wants to do is he wants to put some fresh midfielders in there because he knows those UMBC midfielders have been in there for a while, and they might be a little tired. So he's going to put in some fresh middies, and he's going to take that ball right to the goal.
You know, Tony Allman has the ball right now. Here's a guy that has done so much for this program, has not had a great year. It would be really nice to see him get a big goal now. Kirk Thurston pushing in. The Delaney product has an opening. He had two guys hit him, and Dan Schaefer, the biggest save of his life, possibly this year. 2 saves in a row, Joe. Critical.
Absolutely important. 2 very critical saves. And that not only gives the team momentum, but it gives the goalie confidence and his team confidence. Every time that you've seen one team score a goal and go up by 1, the other team has come right back, regardless of which team started it off. But right there was the turning point to a little bit because the University of Maryland had a wide-open goal, face dodged, and got stuffed 2 times. So UMBC now in the Catbird seat up 12-11.
Every time we get the ball in anybody's offensive half, we should get some sideline camera angles because there's a lot of activity. You can hear them up here. Every coach is screaming. All the players are screaming. They don't want any mental mistakes. They're trying to communicate the game plan and make sure nobody makes any mistakes to give the other team an opening.
This is really a nail-biter today. Full of action. Great game being played by both teams.
Here's Starkey looking for some openings out front. He gives it out to his midi. The midi driving in, looking for a shot. He's got one there, but he backs off, looking for a better one. Doesn't quite get it. Oh, good shot inside, and Beardmore took it off the knee or the arm. And look at Beardmore chasing all the way back.
Okay, now let's take a look at what Lee Felsman, remember this, you may want to write this down, what he called the biggest save of Schaefer's life for at least this year, and it is a tremendous save. A double face dodge, roll inside, coming up, he's got the goal, all he has to do is shoot it, and there he is right there. Now, he popped the ball out, second shot, and he's up to the task and saves it again. And that's where Beardmore got scored on before when the ball flipped out. Tremendous second effort, just as important as that initial effort.
Starkey now for UMBC. He's in close enough to get a shot. A tough feed across the crease, and that would have been almost impossible to catch. He might have been better to pull back out or shoot it himself. Anyway, UMBC maintains control. They've got the lead, 12-11. Only 8 minutes to go. They would be just as happy to sit there and control the ball, Joe. They don't care if they shoot and score anymore. If they can keep control of the ball for 8 minutes, they've got themselves their second victory of the year, and a big one it'll be.
Of course, you can't freeze the ball in lacrosse. You have to keep it in that box, or the referees call you for it.
Kevin Lear inside, takes a right-hand shot, and Beardmore picks it right off. Here he comes. He's shot once today. He's already scored. He could do it again. He drives down the field, looks for help, and what a nifty pass. He'll be in trouble if they lose the ball here. But it comes back to Maryland, and another cleared the outside right back. And what a play that was by Kevin Hart, the defenseman, with a long stick, Joe. Fed it off, kept cutting down the crease, and took the ball back.
Great move by the attacker. Normally you wouldn't feed a midfielder or defenseman with a long stick coming in as we watch him running off the field.
Kevin Hart right there.
Kevin Hart. But there was a penalty on that play, so he had nothing to lose when he fed it back to the defenseman. Normally when a defenseman comes down, clears the ball, they expect him to round out and get off the field. But he recut. The attackman saw it, said, what the heck, I don't care if he's a defenseman, I got a flag, I'm going to get the ball back anyway.
It's really an excellent play. You come in, everybody expects you to roll back, and you keep cutting across the crease. We've got an extra man situation right now. It's Maryland's extra against UMBC in the white. They're a man down, and there's a shot from the outside. It's Willard. Willard with he has 3 goals already. If he gets one more, he'll match last year's output against this same UMBC team. He cranked one up there, and that's the shot to take again in that situation. If it goes wide, they get the ball back.
Key situation now. Maryland down by a goal. On extra man for a minute. They've burned off about 20 seconds. They need this goal.
They've moved some people around. They've got Pat Burke up high with Willard, the left-hander over here. Looks like Burke might be in position to shoot from the left-handed upper corner. Let's see if they rotate around to him and get him a shot.
Maryland a little tight here. Their passes are not sharp at all.
UMBC, a lot of stick contact. Watch the rotation of the white. There's a good stick right there. It pulls down the ball, and he just gets it up across field. And Starkey with an excellent behind-the-back feed. He picked it up on the midfield line. And if he had maintained control, I'm sure Dick Watts would have liked it a little bit better. Beardmore has picked it off. He is amazing, the senses he has.
There's lack of communication right there as the ball goes out of bounds, but saved by another Maryland player.
Excellent play. One good play followed by a poor play right there in that whole series. Beardmore started off telegraphing and anticipating, actually, the play as it came down. Starkey would have been better holding that ball, going back, setting up his offense, but he went for the 10-point play, which is right over his shoulder. It would have been a beauty if it worked. Kirk Thurston, ball knocked down again by the UMBC defense, and they are all over the field. Here's Hopkins, the burner. He's got speed, and he has an open field. He's coming down looking for Starkey in the middle. He doesn't see him, and he goes into the crease, which is really a tough feed to make. There was 2 Maryland players coming back, and they deflected the ball down.
And he's getting a lot of heat from Starkey. Starkey said, why didn't you just hang on to the ball, man? You know, we're leading by a goal. It's 6 minutes to go in the game. Why don't you settle it down?
He may have been saying that I was open also because Starkey was the guy trailing the play, and he had nobody on him. Maryland was caving into the crease area, and that's where Hopkins went with the ball.
The bottom line is Maryland 11, UMBC 12, 5:59 remaining in the game. Beardmore's got the ball. The University of Maryland needs a goal.
I tell you, we're down to a situation where I think if Dick Watts gets the ball back, Joe, he may start calling a timeout to really set up a different offense, a real slow tempo. But the ball comes in, and Schaefer now is becoming the hero of that UMBC team, turning away shot after shot.
We're going to get an interference penalty once again. Goalie had the ball. He was interfered with. That means that the University of Maryland will now take possession. I mean, the University of Maryland Baltimore County will now take possession. 5:43 remaining. The clock becoming the ally of the leader right now, UMBC.
Schaefer's had a heck of a game. He
sure has.
A junior out of Cortland, New York. And right now, I say in this last 15 minutes especially, he has done everything expected and could be the MVP just because of this last quarter of play. Hopkins still looks fresh as he guns up the sideline, and watch him settle it down now. He has an open field, Joe, but he will not take advantage of that. He'll back off. They'll try to eat up as much of that 5.5 minutes as possible because right now they're a winner. They don't have to score. It's 12-11. UMBC, a surprise leader over the University of Maryland. And this, my friends, is a big upset and would probably knock Maryland out of the national playoffs that will take place starting next week. And incidentally, Joe, they will be on Home Team Sports.
That's right. We'll be bringing you the quarterfinals and the semifinals as you watch UMBC.
There's Hopkins. Mark Hopkins. John Bardsley's product from England. He's over here playing. He's had a tough year because he's made outstanding plays, but a lot of mental errors, according to his coach. And right now, possibly his biggest goal, since we're going on biggest goals of the year, let's say that's his biggest goal. Tremendous play.
Let's take a look. Mark Hodkin, who comes from Manchester, England. Manchester, by the way, in England is the hotbed of lacrosse. We see him bounce one in. There's not much lacrosse played around the London area. In 1978, the World Championships were held in Manchester, England. Let's take a look at it again. And he's a speed burner. Came here in 1982 for the World Games, which were played at Johns Hopkins in Baltimore. Dick Watts saw him, recruited him. He was eligible. He came to UMBC from England, and now he's been the difference. 13-11 7. University of Maryland really has its work cut out for it. 5 minutes and 5 seconds. Joe Harlan along with Lee Fesmo as we watch the face-off.
Talk about an important face-off. Here it is right here. The most important of the game, and Maryland controls the ball. And that was not their standard tight ender. That was Chris O'Brien, the senior, who also faces off, and what a job that was. He brings the ball down to Maryland.
Maryland was down by 2 goals to Johns Hopkins in their game and came back within a minute and tied it up. Let's see if they can do it here.
Shot was wide of the net. Not a scoring threat by Dennis Buckley. It was a little bit wide to the close side, but Maryland will maintain possession. You know, in that last shot by Buckley, by Hodgkin, who came down, he was right-handed against Beardmore. I'm surprised if Beardmore let that one go in because it was a right-handed shot with little or no angle, and it went inside of the pipe in Beardmore. Maryland now needing a goal desperately. It's 13-11. They have a 2-goal deficit. They've got to get a shot. UMBC content just to get good position. Pushing their way with the stick. Maryland working around for the good shot. Hanley now on the left. The left-hander looks for help. He doesn't get it. Being pushed back by UMBC's tough defense. They're being very physical now. Dick Watts. Look, he's getting help from all sides, but there's a great cut on the backside by McGeady, and McGeady brings Maryland back to within 1 with 4 minutes left.
That's McGeady's 4th goal, and what happened there is number 26 for the University of Maryland, Brendan Hanley, the attackman, came and kept rolling in until McGeady's defenseman came and rolled off him. Then he turned around the other way and fed McGeady sneaking around the backside. Let's take a look at it again. You're going to see the other defenseman coming off as he feeds it right across the middle, and there he is coming naked across, Matt McGeady. Now you'll see Schaefer getting clocked by his own man right here. Guy coming in, trying to help out on the defensive end. And here's the goal that's going to make the score 11-12, 12-13. University of Maryland, Baltimore campus still on top.
Face-off infraction here. It's a push against UMBC, and Maryland again controls the face-off. That will put the ball back in Maryland's court. They need 1 goal to tie it. There are only 4 minutes left, and this is a must-win situation for Maryland.
And again, Dick Watts counters by putting those 6 long sticks in there to keep the University of Maryland from getting an easy goal.
But you know, last time the long sticks, the reason that cutter was coming through, Joe, is because the long sticks defensemen were kind of boxing up. They were looking to help if the one man beat the guy he was playing. They weren't watching the cutter on the backside. Let's see if they cut the backside and try to get another open man. Up top, this is another Beardmore coming in, Stevie Beardmore.
He's got a foul. He's got a foul. He's going to shoot.
Free shot coming. Steve Beardmore, he's a sophomore from Severn also. He and his brother anchoring this team. And Scotty Fredericks got a penalty there as he's talking it over.
It's going to be a 1-minute slashing penalty, it looks like, against UMBC, so the University of Maryland, as we take a look at it again, this is Beardmore rolling around, drawing this penalty, and he knows that he's got a free shot at it.
Look at the help coming up, Joe. The help doubling up real quick for UMBC. It looks like they're almost too eager to help out if a man gets beat.
Well, they're up, by a goal, and they just want to play good defense. So it looks like the University of Maryland's going to have an extra man. Dick Watts is not real happy with that. He said, we got 3 what? Let's listen.
It looks like he's getting a 3-minute penalty.
I don't know why there'd be a 3-minute penalty unless it's a flagrant foul or a stick violation.
What for, Will?
But you hear the 1-4 call. Joe, that means for the first time today.
I think our problem is that they may have 3 men down. I don't know how that could be. That's exactly what the story is. University of Maryland Baltimore campus is down by 3 players. Apparently 3 guys figured in on those fouls. And Dick Watts is going to call a timeout right here to see if he can figure this out. This is a very unusual situation.
Well, if he is 3 men down, that's why Coach Dickie Dell went to the 1-4-1. He's putting in a new offensive scheme to go against that multiple down situation. He's going to go into a 1-4-1, which means there'll be 1 man high, 1 man behind the goal, and 4 men across the plane of the goal. That'll make it darn near impossible to defense.
But, this is an excellent chance, obviously, for the University of Maryland to tie the score up. But if somehow they're stuffed and they don't get this goal, that will be a tremendous, not only goal advantage for UMBC, but psychological advantage. Let's listen to what Dick Watts is going to do with 3 men down.
4-2. Don't go right to bring it in here. Come here. Wait. Come on. Let's get
we look down in the two huddles, they're...
Joe, I tell you, this puts the heat right back to where we said it was 15 minutes ago, and that's on the shoulders of Dan Schaefer, the goalie for UMBC. I don't care who these three defensemen are for UMBC. Dan Schaefer is going to get some shots right at him. It's all on his shoulders.
Absolutely. As you know, with 4 men, you set up a box with 3 men. Only one geometric figure left, right? Triangle. 2 men on the crease, 1 guy out in front. All you can do is put the sticks up in the air and hope that the goalie's on. Now, if they get this ball, if white team gets this ball, they're going to crank it and throw it as far as they can up the other end of the field.
Watch the 3-3 slide. He'll probably cut right into a 1-4-1 if he can't get a quick shot. A cutter will come through. Right now, they're starting to cut. They're cutting in a 1-4-1 as we speak. Now the ball goes behind. Now they're in the 1-4-1. They're looking for a shot. They'll try to get up top. They got 3 guys high. Any one of them can shoot. And there it is. The tied goal, ladies and gentlemen. And now the game is 13-13. Don't go away because this one may go into overtime.
A fine shot by McGeady. What he did was he faked the defenseman off. So we have 3 guys playing 6. And it's McGeady's 5th goal. He faked the guy and just shot it inside on the goalie. Here it is from a ground level shot, hitting the right-hand corners. McGeady has 5 goals. Let's take a look at Schaefer here. The goalie for UMBC, as he really did not expect that goal. Went him on his offside. He's right-handed, came in over his left side. So it's 13 all, and it's going to be an unlucky 13 for one of the 2 teams today. A shame either team has to lose this game today.
Not an exceptional shot there. I was a little surprised. How does Schaefer's been? I thought that was one he looked like he could have saved.
I think he was surprised by it. I don't think he expected it.
Again, Todd Enzer dominating the face-offs here of late, and Maryland calls a timeout. They're setting up a new offensive scheme. They've got the ball. They've got 3 minutes and 16 seconds left, and they've got the pressure, Joe, because, again, if they don't win this game, there ain't no NCAAs for them at the end of the year.
That's true, and that Adele, again, coaching strategy. Adele had said, if we get the face-off, let's take a listen. He said, let's call a timeout right away, because I know what he wants to do. He wants to hold that ball, go for the shot.
Okay, here's what we'll do. Okay, here's what we'll do. We start off with OB, you go to crease. All right. Tonio, you take the right hand. All right. Bucks, you take the left hand. Okay. Wilbur, you get on that right hand wing. Hands on the left. Matthew, you at X. We're in a 1-3-2. Work the ball around. We get it to Tony on the right hand wing. You're driving hard right hand to Tony. Look to get the ball to hands. Swing it backside to Matthew, and then we cut the play. I'm cutting. Right? The guy on the crease, Wilbur.
One hand on your stick, Tony. Don't go with the 2 hands.
OB, you set the pick for Wilbur. And stay off of that crease. All right? OB's about to pick for you. All right, keep moving. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Plenty of time. Set it up and start it all over again.
You just heard there's the strategy. Kevin O'Leary, I'm sorry, Joe. Kevin O'Leary, the goalie from the last 4 years at Maryland, a guy that probably got more out of his God-given natural ability than anybody I can remember. A real hard worker. And right now moving into the coaching ranks.
And what they're talking about is a 1-3-2. That means they're going to have 1 guy behind, 3 guys on the crease, and 2 out front. And they're going to try and work that ball around and get a cutter coming in off of the pipe.
And when he said cut both pipes, they're looking at just that. They'll have a guy slashing down on both sides, and they'll take whatever one's open.
And that's just what we see as we look down the field. 3 men across the crease area, 2 out front, and 1 behind. That ball's going to go around, and it's going to come behind, and we're going to see the cutters. If it doesn't work, they're going to do it again.
It's a young defense of UMBC that's against this pressure situation. They lost all 3 starters last year, including their goalie, and these young guys, mostly sophomores, are up against it right now. 6 long sticks. Maryland, they'll be patient. Right now, they're setting up that play that we heard Kevin O'Leary talk about in the huddle. And here comes the first cut, right through. It's Tony Albert. Tony Albert has a shot, but he's not going to take it. He looks behind. That's what they want. They want the ball to go behind, but the pressure is pretty intense.
They didn't want to force it. They know they don't want to lose possession of that ball.
O'Leary talked about hands. That's Hanley, and that's who has it now. Hanley gets the goal.
A beautiful shot. He defeated 2 defensemen. You see them lying down prone on the field, and the goalie's coming off, and he's going berserk. As the University of Maryland, after being down by 2 goals, comes back to go up 14-13. A brilliant shot, solving 2 defensemen, leaving them flat on the field. Let's take a look. Rolling inside. He's going to roll back. Let's take a look. So they're coming right into the right side of the goal. Coming through, the other defenseman comes out, and he puts it right on the offside of the goalie. And he is really upset by that. Schaefer is really mad.
Schaefer is still mad at himself.
Let's take a look. Let's take a look. Double goalies in there by way of the defenseman. Comes out and goes to the offside, bounces off the goalie's body and goes in. So the University of Maryland up 14-13.
That was the right place to put it. He come in left-handed. Schaefer's got to respect the left-handed shot. He pulled it back inside the pipe. Not much Schaefer could do. But now, a little penalty on the moving pick is the call. Maryland again dominating the faceoffs with Todd Ensler, that specialist, but a moving pick violation gives the ball to UMBC. They've got 2.5 minutes left, and if the early part of the game was any indication, I think we're going to tie it up.
A bonehead play on the behalf of University of Maryland. They had possession. There's no need to have the moving pick, and now they give the ball right back to UMBC, and UMBC is going to go into a pattern offense and look for the good shot.
Well, they've got 2.5 minutes left, and they need one goal to tie it up. Unbelievably, Maryland has fought back. Their backs were against the wall. They need this victory to hopefully slide into the playoffs. Nothing's guaranteed. Now Goss is up front. He likes that cannon from up there. He'll try to shoot from the top of the pipe. Over to Rocky. Rocky moving it around. Both of these guys like to shoot from outside. Rocky gets a little move. He's inside. He scores. UMBC. And they've got a penalty, too. And that penalty will be elapsed. It'll be wiped out by the goal. Rocky, showing the class of a senior, came right in, sucked it up, and scored the tying goal with 2 minutes left. Joe, will this game ever end?
It's unbelievable. Here he comes in, rolling in for his 4th goal, defeats that long stick, rolls inside, and he's going to come off of Beardmore's other side right there over his head, and there it is, 14-all. Let's look at it one more time from a top viewpoint, rolling inside, beating his man, coming on top.
You know, unbelievably, this is a mirror shot of the other goal.
Now let's take a look at Beardmore standing there. Exactly, a mirror shot, scores tied up, and UMBC wins the faceoff. But can they control it?
They're looking for possession. Bodies are over the field. There's a nice hit on the side by Maryland. Maryland fighting for the ball desperately. They must have this win to advance. UMBC has the ball. They can get a shot inside. Chuck Reed has it. Moves up top the flag. Jeff Flagg has control of the ball. Moves in tight. And now that's Goss. Goss can shoot from there. He's dangerous. He pulls back out, and Maryland will set up their defense.
And Goss says to the referee, "Where's my penalty? The guy's beating me to death."
Here's a shot from the far side. It's Rocky. Just misses the pipe. Rocky had his right-handed shot. 1 minute, 24 seconds left. 14-14 tie. Maryland backs against the wall. They have to have this win. Let's take a look at Beardmore. There he is. He's a little bit down because, just like Schaefer, he was the victim of an excellent move to tie the game.
And here's that shot just going by him. That could have slipped in the goal. It didn't. It just went right by him.
Notice the moving feet. Goalie constantly moving to get himself in good position. Starkey, knowing he can win the game. 1 minute left. Trying to move himself into good position. There's not a better one-on-one player on that team than Starkey. And now the ball goes back to Maryland. Interference with the goalie on Jeff Flagg. Jeff Flagg.
And he is very mad because he said the goalie didn't have possession of it. You shouldn't have given it up.
Joe explained the rule that Jeff was involved in there.
What happens is that the goalie is clamping the ball down there. You can't interfere with the stick. You have to give him the right to get it up. And he said that Beardmore really didn't have possession. The ball was up in the air, and that's why he's yelling. And he seems like he has a good point. He says he doesn't like that a bit.
I think that's a good argument, right?
Bottom line is University of Maryland has the ball tied up 14-14. We're almost inside a minute. Games in lacrosse cannot end in a tie. If it does end in a tie, we're going to go to a sudden death. And here's Beardmore coming down the field.
They'd love to get the ball back from Beardmore. Let's see what happens. Maryland will not have a bad shot here. They want at least one good shot before the game's over. We're inside a minute. The game is 14-14. Maryland with the ball. They must score to win. It's clipped up in the air. Rocket shot on the inside. Hanley shoots, but Schaefer gets it back. Schaefer regaining his form just in time. This game couldn't be any more exciting.
Inside of 30 seconds now.
Goss takes the ball. He'll have a chance for one more shot if he can clear it. If he can get across the midfield stripe. He's double teamed. Behind the back. He gets it to Hodgkin. Hodgkin's got wheels. 20 seconds. He feeds it across. Flagg. Flagg shoots and Beardmore snuffs it out. A beautiful play by Beardmore. All the ingredients of a championship caliber game. And here we are down to the 10 seconds left in the game. It's going to go beyond regulation, fans. It's 14-14 with 5 seconds, 4 seconds, 3 seconds. And this one's going in overtime. There it is. A tremendous game. Maryland and UMBC, the end of regulation time. It's 14-14 to everybody's surprise. And Joe, I can't even predict what's going to happen in this extra game.
Well, I hope you home team sports fans enjoy the lacrosse you've been getting. This is the second time in 2 weeks we've been at College Park, and this is the second time in 2 weeks that we're bringing you an overtime sudden death game.
You know, Dickie Dell told me if he loses this game, he's not going to talk to me anymore. So. He doesn't like these overtime games.
Okay, let's explain this. Let's explain and listen to Dickie Dell.
It's just like it's a man-down situation. The team with possession of the ball, as the time runs out, maintains that position on the other end of the field. Okay? Remember that situation.
Dick Watts.
Okay? Score. Right him off the fist. Come on. Come on. You don't have it. Point the ball, Ray. Put the pressure on that defensively, okay? No penalties. Let's push it. Let's take it to these guys, man. Sticks down, dude. You got time. Come on, Wayne. Come on. Listen up. Listen up. Listen up. No penalties. What you just got
East Point, Maine and Old Milwaukee both mean something great to these guys. East Point means a New England clam bake, summer fun and food at its best. And Old Milwaukee means a great beer. Cold, crisp Old Milwaukee beer and smooth golden Old Milwaukee Light.
Old Milwaukee.
And Old Milwaukee Light.
Taste as great as their name.
You know, guys, it doesn't get any better than this.
It's good to UMBC.
Well, this is Joe Harlan along with Lee Felsmo coming to you live from College Park, where unbelievably UMBC is held the University of Maryland to 14-14. We're in sudden death overtime. The format is that they'll play a 5-minute overtime period. Whoever has the ball in their possession, if they haven't scored a goal at the end of that overtime period, will retain possession without a face-off. If there's no possession, there will be a face-off. Beginning this overtime period, however, we will start with a face-off. First person that scores a goal wins the ball game.
Joe, I wonder if we'll see any adjustments on the face-offs. Maryland has been dominating in the second half. Ty Enders has been doing a spectacular job, and UMBC just hasn't been able to equal him. So maybe there'll be an adjustment made by Dick Watts, knowing how important these face-offs are. Well, I see right now that he doesn't have any long sticks in, but Maryland has one long stick on the wing. That'd be John Merrill, a freshman defenseman.
And as much as these teams are fighting against each other, you saw a very sportsmanlike gesture as both the middies gave each other a high five just before they faced off. The face-off is absolutely key here.
Ignacio, he gets it, squirts out between his legs. A nice pull move. It's a power face-off, and he did an excellent job. Pulled it back to right where Goss was running in. Goss knew his move. Goss came into the area and got the ball. Now UMBC looking for a shot. It's Rocky again, and Rocky, John Rocky is taking the game in his own hands. He's a senior. The whole team is going crazy. That'll do it. It's a sudden death overtime win. And Joe,
this is the death.
UMBC looks like they've been the giant killer.
This is the death knell for the University of Maryland. Let's take a look at this. UMBC has won one game all year. And here they are defeating University of Maryland.
Come on, babe, come on.
All right, Joe, let's take a look at the replay. What a dramatic end to a fantastic game and a big day for the University of Maryland, Baltimore County.
Bounced right by Beardmore. This is exactly what happened to the University of Maryland when they played Johns Hopkins. This is incredible. They lost to the #1 team and probably the last team in lacrosse, all in overtime sudden death. Here it is from behind the goal, bouncing down, and bang. It looks like the University of Maryland, amazingly, after beating North Carolina a couple weeks ago, has gone from the top to the bottom, and UMBC is in seventh heaven. Let's take a look at a ground shot. That's a game-winning goal.
The guy that did it all, John Rodkey, the last 2 goals of the game, he's the one they really came through when it counted. The one to send it in overtime and the one to win it. John Rodkey, a senior, and what a satisfying day for him. The 5th goal today, and if there was an MVP vote, no question who would get the victories.
And can you tell us, Leaf, the number of times UMBC in the history of this contest has won?
This is the first.
That's correct.
Well, we thought it might be a great game, and it turned out to be a fantastic game. UMBC coming from behind many times, going ahead for the final victory, 15-14 in sudden death, and we'll be back with a final wrap-up after this message.
Shotgun Rapids, Idaho, and Old Milwaukee both mean something great to these guys. The shotgun means white water at its best, and Old Milwaukee means a great beer. Cold, crisp, Old Milwaukee beer and smooth, golden Old Milwaukee Light.
And Old Milwaukee.
And Old Milwaukee Light.
Taste as great as their name.
You know, guys, it doesn't get any better than this.
City O's has been selling Oldsmobiles since 1919 and has earned a reputation for selling for less and servicing best.
Stadium at the University of Maryland. The University of Maryland may be losing their last chance to slip into that final 8 to go in for the national championship later this month. UMBC totally ecstatic. A sudden death victor, 15-14 over a very talented University of Maryland team. And Joe, a little bit of a surprise to all our lacrosse fans.
This is not only the upset of the year, but perhaps the upset of the decade. University of Maryland, as we already pointed out, had beaten North Carolina, a team that had won the national championship 2 years ago. They had played Johns Hopkins, the #1 team, to an overtime loss. And here they are playing UMBC, who everybody said was the best 1-9 team in the country. And there's probably not too many 1-9 teams in the country. And there we look at a very, very happy Dick Watts. He had a tough, long year. He was played closely in a lot of games, but they just couldn't pull it out. And here at the end of the season, he's finally gotten his reward.
We'll take a look at the game winner right now. John Rodkey did it all. He got this face-off, came down the wing, had a little bit of room, and drove his defenseman in for the right-handed shot. He loves that right-handed lane. That's why Dick Watts put him in today. And there's the goal. Jeff Flagg celebrating, and the rest of the team came out for the celebration right afterwards. And I'm telling you, it was some sort of ecstatic scene that we witnessed there, Joe. A great victory for UMBC. Last year we saw them play many times a similar season. A lot of disappointments. They lost. They played Hopkins last year, first game of the year, lost by 2 goals only. UMBC did. Lost their first 4 games, I think, or 3 games by a total of 4 goals, and never really regained the confidence they needed. So Dick Watts, to take them all the way through that year into this year, has done a heck of a job coaching.
And it was a tremendous coaching job by both coaches down there. They really played a great chess game, as you said, back and forth, parrying back and forth. And it was in the final analysis, the face-off in the end, that won the game for UMBC. They kept themselves in the game the whole time, even when the University of Maryland came back.
Well, hope you enjoyed the broadcast. Along with Joe Harlan, I'm Lee Felsmo saying so long from Byrd Stadium in College Park. Once again, our final score in sudden death, UMBC 15, Maryland 14. NCAA lacrosse has been directed by Darrell Landrum. As we see Todd Enzer with the final face-off that won the game. And again, NCAA lacrosse has been directed by Darrell Landrum and produced by Skip Desjardins. Executive producer of Home Team Sports is Jody Shapiro. Be sure to join us on Wednesday, May 15th, when Home Team Sports presents the quarterfinals of the NCAA lacrosse tournament, and again on Sunday, May 19th, for live coverage of the NCAA semifinals. This has been an exclusive presentation of Home Team Sports, the channel you cheer for.